somebody else. But then time caught up with my plans. And when the day broke, it exposed me for the fool that I really am. But you said, let me lead you, let me take you by the hand, yeah. So I can feed you from a good and precious land. All my eyes have seen, you're all I need. You're all I need, yeah. So now I'm learning to walk in your steps. And through the valley of confusion, I've been losing my apprehension with death. But you say, let me lead you, let me take you by the hand. So I can feed you from a good and precious land. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to. And I'm so grateful for your love. And all my eyes have seen the wonders of your mystery received. I've tasted what it means. Now nothing else is good enough for me. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. You're all I need. Oh, I need you. Yeah, I need you. Oh, I need you now. Now I owe it all to you, giving my heart to you, freedom becoming true. Nobody else like you, do what you promised to, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for your love. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I need you in my life.
What's up, everybody? We are live in the building. We're here. It's Tuesday night, so you know we do it live, y'all. So if you're here, make sure you hit that like button, share the video so we can get the algorithm going in our favor. But yeah, we're going to get into some stuff. You're here, you're watching Young Lion TV. Let's go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
That's right, Young Lion TV, like we do it live every Tuesday night. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat. I see y'all coming in already. If you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Rumble, all those places, make sure you guys share the video, hit the like button, and join in on the conversation, because, you know, we always like to get into some serious topics here at the Young Lion TV podcast. I got my brothers with me, fellas, that we grew up together, and we like to talk about what's going on in the world. We like to talk about our experiences and things that we've come to understand throughout our travels in life and our journey as now being fathers and husbands and followers of Christ, and how that shapes all of our opinions on what's been going on and a lot of things that we fell victim to as young men. So if that's something that you can get behind, make sure you like the video and share it with your friends. But also, we have a Patreon if you guys want to support what we do. If you're following the conversation, you're like, you know what, I like what these guys are talking about. You can head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/YoungLionTV, where you can become a member. Sign up over there. And we have different levels of lions there, as you can see on the Patreon, all the way up to the Lion King level, where you can become a part of the pride of the Young Lions and help spread the community. Also, if you want to cop some of our great Young Lion merch or our band, which is Jatan, the music that you heard at the top of the show, you can cop some of our merch over on our website, which is jatan.com/shop. Head on over there and get some merch to support what we do as well. Yeah. But other than that, we got shows coming up soon. We'll let everybody know about those as they come in. We got a new song coming out October 25th called What Are We Fighting For? So stay tuned for that. It will be dropping on all the streaming platforms. We want to get everybody listening to that. It's got a really deep meaning to it. So we hope everybody enjoys it when it comes out. But without further ado, I got with me the brothers in the building. Of course, you see him there. You see him. He's the most confusing man, as I always say, in the podcast world, because you look at him, you say, wait, that's just a black guy. But when you get to know him, you're like, that's not a black guy. But he's the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, the Trini, Mr. James Garcia in the building.
When you say that, though, it's culturally black.
Yeah.
In the
American sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We're in the States now. So I'm saying, like, culturally as Americans, you see somebody.
You usually consider as.
Yes, right. But when you hang out with James and he's listening to Christopher Cross and Brazilian jazz, you know, you're like, wait a minute.
It's not a regular black.
It's not a regular black. And of course, I got my big brother, but he's everybody's big brother. He is the preacher, the teacher, the people reacher, Jacob Eugene Evans III in the building.
Oh.
Ready to
Been a
give
while.
his perspective. Yeah, you've been in and out. You've been in and out.
Yeah, I haven't been here for a few weeks, though.
You were here a couple weeks ago, right? No?
Well, not the last two.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so it has been a while. Okay. Yeah. Well, it should be fun. You know, there's a lot. Everything is about the election right now, you know, so it's like there's the scramble is on. There's only a few days
Hopefully we
left.
can bring some continuity and, you know, understanding to it.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. Shout out to Eric Croft, our boy. We haven't seen you in a minute. He just said, hello, gents. Good to see you. Good to see you too, man.
Eric?
Shout out to Eric. Also, we have the best producer in the world with us this evening. We got to give her a shout out. She's our mother. We love her. Miss Angeli Lopez is here with us as usual. Always holding us down. She was just telling us that in November, it'll be 2 years that you've been sitting there learning how to operate the switchboards and stuff. So it's amazing. And last but not least, I am the navigator here, sitting down with you guys. Of course, the bearded guy that looks like everybody in your family or someone you've seen on TV that is light skinned with a beard, Jamie Evans. And
you're also the guy that kind of makes it happen, right?
I mean,
who puts it all together, who makes sure everything's working.
The producer.
Who opens his house up to us.
You know.
All that too, right?
That's included in there, you know. Right. That's part of the navigation thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He also enhances Trinidadian food. Takes it up a notch.
Oh yeah, I was sitting over the weekend. We were making doubles over here, and I made some steak on the grill, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put some steak in these doubles, and I put it in there, and everybody was totally offended. Yeah, but I knew my brother James would appreciate it, so man, I sent him a picture of it. It was very good, and trust me, your sister had to admit that it was very good. Yeah. I was like, yo, people would love this.
Yeah. Offended as she was eating it.
No, she wouldn't eat a whole one. She just tasted mine.
Yeah. Offended that he's breaking tradition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the next day I made egg breakfast doubles.
Right.
And then she made some shrimp, some curry shrimp doubles after that. So yeah, man, we had a whole doubles weekend. For those that don't know, that's like the national food of Trinidad, right? Isn't that like
it's pretty much a breakfast.
Yeah.
Like our version of an egg McMuffin, basically.
But it's totally not. Like it's
It's nothing to do with that.
right. It's a fried dough.
Yes.
And it's called doubles because you get two of them.
Yes.
And then between the two pieces of fried dough, they put like
We
a
call it
curry,
chana, but
a
it's-
curry chickpea.
Yeah.
Which you guys call chana because that's the Indian name. You see, confusing. That's the Indian name for chickpeas is chana, right? So they call it chana. It's a curry chickpea with a little bit of potato and like then you put like a tamarind sauce and like some pepper and it's spicy and sweet at the same time and it's called doubles. And
Chana Barra.
and that's like if you're in Trinidad.
have to
Everyone says you got to get doubles. We walked all the way to San Fernando Market when we were there to get some good doubles, and the man was scooping them out of a paint bucket.
That's true.
And nobody got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
And they're both different, but they both had like different. Like one was sweet, one was spicy.
Yeah, we found the two longest lines, and we were like, okay.
Yeah.
These got to be the good spots.
Yeah.
We found the people that don't have no customers, don't go to them. So we found the two longest lines. And I got one line, he got in the other line, and we both got doubles, and then we compared. Yeah. But it's an interesting food. I always tell them that they should like corner the market here in the States because that would be a perfect like food truck food.
And it's vegan.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
you could cater to the vegans. Everybody could eat it.
Yeah.
And it's a great food truck food. It's easy to like pre-prep.
Can do all kinds of doubles.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And my idea is always to like have those options where you do like interesting
Korean
flips
doubles.
on it. Exactly, like kimchi doubles, like all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People would eat it up, man. I'm telling you. So maybe
Got a
one
point.
day.
Listen, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
He's always been open though.
Yeah.
So he's not. I don't think there's anything I've ever seen him cringe.
Nah. I mean, certain things. I won't. The blood sausage thing is a little bit hard for me.
But you tried it.
Yeah, I'll try it. Yeah.
I even for me, I didn't like it either. I was like, this is not what I remember it being.
Yeah. Like chitlins are always. I'll pass on those. I have tried them, but I'll pass on those.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not trying it.
Have you never tried it?
No, I don't want to. I smell it.
Yeah.
Smell it. Does not smell good.
Yeah.
So.
And my dad used to make them, and they don't smell great, but I tried them. It wasn't terrible, but it's just not something that I would be like, I can't wait to have some of that. It's like,
No.
yeah.
Good.
I remember I never in my life heard of that. And when I walked into your grandfather's house and smelled it,
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck is that nasty
Yeah.
smell? And then I wouldn't even,
Right.
Yeah, but again, it's tradition. It's something,
cultural. Yeah.
It's
Southern.
like Cambodians. Smells not here, but Cambodians eating tarantulas.
Tarantulas.
That's-
Yeah.
It's something that,
Tarantulas.
or Haitians eating cats.
Yeah. Listen.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'm saying it becomes cultural.
I love that reaction. Because it's like,
Yeah, but cats?
but see that the only reason why you say that is because culturally here that's not food to us. Like
Yeah.
that whole
wouldn't
that's why
consider it,
that whole idea of like people being offended at the fact that you would even accuse them of is like, yeah, people around the world eat other animals than we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So it's not even offensive to say like, yo, they actually eat that there, know. And there has been people that have admitted that, come out and said like, yeah, we eat. The one I saw somebody interview one of their Haitian cousins who just came from over there, and he was saying like, yo, we eat cats like chicken wings.
Yeah. He's like, do you eat cats? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, of course.
Well, I remember going to a Chinese restaurant with my mom, and I'm not lying. We ordered some chicken something, and it tasted like, it didn't taste like chicken.
Well, that's been the joke in the States for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tasted
That
like something
you're
slimy.
eating
And
cat.
it could, but
And a lot of them have gotten caught.
yeah. But another thing I know that they do is they use
Baking soda.
yes.
Yeah.
Which
to
tastes-
tenderize their
which-
meat. That's why it has that weird texture.
Yeah, which changes the texture, especially for chicken.
And the taste of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
We didn't eat it. We loved it.
So a lot of times you're like, this is chicken?
Yeah.
But a lot of
Or
it's-
beef, because even with the beef gets real
Yeah.
soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. And like you said, it's tradition, and culture.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like I mean, it's a fact that in a lot of Asian countries they eat dog. Like it's normal. They breed dogs to eat them out there. So here we're like, oh, eating dogs. But if you, we're only saying that because here we decided to dress dogs up in sweaters and carry them and sleep in the bed with them and let them lick us in our mouths. You know what I mean? Like in a lot of culture, like in Trinidad, that's not, people don't do that.
No,
it's not
that
normal.
recently became popular when people started getting the toy breeds. The small ones, but other than that, they stayed outside.
They were hunting dogs. You use them. Dogs were bred for a purpose originally.
Guard, hunt,
herding animals.
They could be companion too, but
mostly they were purposeful.
Yeah,
we didn't snuggle with them. You know what I mean? But it's just really, over the years, and I think through like you said, the toy breed culture, especially in England, it was seen as a like a status symbol to have a dog that didn't do work. It was just your companion.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if you remember growing up, grandmom had dogs.
Yeah, they were all outside.
All the way in the back.
Yep.
Like she had acres. She had a couple acres of land. But she always, they weren't hers. They were our great uncles. Yeah. But he would keep them.
He would keep them there because they had the room for them. But they were all outside in pens. And they were all like hound dogs. Like they were hunting dogs. Yeah, they never came in the house, Yeah.
Well, with all these immigrants here, we're going to have less cats and dogs and ducks and all that. I'm being serious. We're not going to see a lot of cats running around, dogs, stray cats, stray dogs.
I mean, that might not be a bad thing.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's bad.
Cats
sometimes it is.
Cats spreading.
If they start eating people's pets, then that's when it becomes
stray animals and
a problem.
Break in your house and steal the chicken nuggets or eat your pet. What do you want?
I saw a video of them doing the those people that do those microscope videos where they show you things and they put them under the microscope to show you what. So I saw one where a guy took a stray cat and just wiped its paw and put it under the thing, and the amount of worms, bro. The amount of worms.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. And
part of life,
We've heard about Toxoplasma gondii, which comes from cats, which is a weird phenomenon. So, there's something about that. There's a reason why like old cat ladies, once they start taking in those feral cats, then they have 1 million of them. Because I think they get those worms. Those worms actually make you want more cats or be around. Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Yes.
Those
parasite.
worms make you want more cats.
Yeah, it's a parasite. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, mice get it, and then they want to be around cats.
Yeah, because that's how the parasite
cats eat them.
Reproduces. It gets the mouse to go to the cat to be eaten, so then the cat can now have the worm and then pass it on. Yeah, it's crazy.
All these concepts that we watch in movies comes from nature. You remember there was a TV series about a year ago. It's called The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And it was about a cordyceps mushroom that it infected human beings. But there is mushrooms that will zombify animals, not animals, but insects, and the mushroom, the spores will get into the insect, and the insect will go back to the colony, and it'll turn the whole thing into zombies, insects. So they took that concept. So all these things that we watch pretty much came from nature by observing nature. That's what it was, So same thing with like parasites, he said.
Yeah. There's so
we're
many.
A host, you know what I mean? You've
seen those parasites that take over insects' bodies, like praying mantises or caterpillars or grasshoppers, like
cicadas.
Yeah, it'll take over their function and like make them behave in weird ways or make them jump and commit suicide in a pond because that's how it reproduces. Like crazy stuff.
Which I guess could be the same thing in the spiritual world.
Right?
A demonic.
It's like a parasitic.
It reminds me of the story of the man at the Gadarene.
The 6,000.
Yeah.
The legion.
Send us into the pigs.
Yeah. And then the pigs ran into the water.
Yeah.
2,000.
Yeah.
2,000.
Yeah. I just found out shrimp has parasites too.
Yeah.
Like there's a type of crustacean. Yeah, I guess crustacean that feeds on their gills. Like fish have them. Like it actually goes and cuts out the fish tongue.
I've seen the one that pretends to be a tongue.
Yes.
That you ever see that one?
It's like weird as heck.
It goes into the fish's mouth.
It cuts out the fish tongue.
It eats the tongue and then sets itself up as a tongue, so that when the fish eats, it steals the food.
Yes.
That is so crazy.
I mean, nature. I mean, this is where all these concepts came from. It's from nature. Like the one I saw where they were peeling back the shrimp, and it was a parasite stuck to the gill of the. This is the fish too.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
But isn't it weird that the Bible says that as it is in heaven, so is below?
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you really look at nature.
Look at this. This is the fish tongue parasite.
Oh, please.
Yeah, people think we're crazy. No, that's real. I saw that too, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, look at this. Look at this creepy thing. It looks like an alien.
Yeah, and
like
it's latched onto
when
the
you
tongue.
watch these movies,
that's where it comes
you
from.
can tell they steal.
That's
from
where it comes from.
These things a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing new under the sun, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, so let's talk about how they sent out
Barry.
They sent out Barry on them. They sent out Steven to wrangle the Negroes.
Barry was hot on this.
Barry was upset. Hold up, Adam
Barry
Fields.
upset now.
Shout out to Adam Fields, Courtney Davis. Courtney, our sister, said, "Good evening, family." Adam said, "I do anything Parasite cleanse twice a year because I have a cat and a dog." Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. If you have animals to do that. I heard a shaman say years ago that in South America they believe that parasites and demonic possession are interconnected. Wow, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe
it's feeding off your life force. I mean, but the physical life force.
I mean, there's definitely a correlation between like demons that you can have.
Yeah.
And parasites.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And demons that can influence you. Not necessarily, some will possess, but I'm saying some can influence you by what you watch, what you soak in, the environment you're in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Alter your mood.
I've been finding a lot of videos, especially on X, showing how like the cause for a lot of diseases are parasites in people's stomachs that they don't realize, or in the body. Like there's so many things that give us parasites that our like ancestors knew about. Sure. Like he's talking about these shamans, like the things that we used to take, or our parents used to make us take back in the day, were supposed to be like anti-parasitics, you know, like a lot of the wormwood, like, the oils that we would take, a lot of the vitamin stuff, even like natural alcohol, stuff like that. I've saw something about papaya seeds, eating that.
Even eating green vegetables, but not in a fully cooked state. Like the bitterness of the greens help clean you out.
Yeah.
Like, people did that.
Yeah.
Eating, for men, testosterone, liver and organs.
Yeah.
Men used to eat, you remember people eat like liver and like heart. And we don't eat that no more.
Right. So that's why we have these terrible diets, all of these ailments coming up.
And even something, I think Joe Rogan was talking about this. I know we're going to get to Barry, but real quick, they were talking about this. Even the way we eat food now, like we're supposed to chew it more, but it's so soft.
Yeah. Because foods are so ultra processed now. Our jaw structure has changed. Yeah. So now this is why we have more dental issues.
But interesting about that, right? So they were saying when they were going through this, the era of discovering, like the paleontologists were trying to have this intermediary species between the current human race and the old form.
Like this Neanderthal.
Right, Neanderthal. Yeah. And so when they were doing research, they completely discounted the fact that people were using their mouth as a vice.
Right.
So to tear things, to bite things, to tie things.
Right.
Where were we going to get pliers from?
Right.
So when they looked at the structure of the jaws that they were finding, the structure of the jaw was different. The hands were different.
Right.
But these people were smaller in terms of height, but they were thicker than us.
So they were like, this must be a missing link breed.
Right. But people were saying, well, wait a minute. People would use their hands.
Yeah.
Like if you look at like my dad was a woodworker for how many years?
Oh my God, his hands were massive.
Huge, but he was always grabbing things, pulling things. And so the same thing with the jaw, as they were studying, they were like, wait a minute, could this not be an intermediary species, but could it just be the same human being, but someone that would be using their hands and their feet and their jaws as a tool.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you ever heard the conspiracy that the gray aliens are just like humans in the future?
Really?
Because it, like, if you think about it, the way we are kind of evolving into not using our muscles,
that makes sense.
Not using our
we've atrophied.
Yeah, we've atrophied, but the brain has grown. Like,
but we're weak,
right? So if you continue to advance technologically and like understanding how to unlock certain things like telekinesis or things like that, right? If you as a society or as a species, you learn to unlock those things well into the future, you will tend to evolve into just like how our jaws have become smaller, right? And our teeth are kind of starting to bunch together now because the jaws are smaller.
Yeah.
So in the future, eventually, maybe you won't have teeth if you're not consuming food the same way. If you're like getting nutrients from different.
I mean, they have said that the testosterone in males have gone down dramatically.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, of course, it's because of the food and everything else, but
yeah.
I mean, there's definitely something demonic about aliens because people, you know, this is known that when they show up, people have said the name of Jesus and they go. And they've had encounters or even abductions sometimes. So
yeah. Shout out to George.
Weird stuff with that.
Our boy George, he said, "What's good, squad? What's up, George?
what's going on?"
All right, so let's get into them sending Steven in after us. Let me see if I can find the clips I wanted to find on this. Okay, so
get him. Go get him, Barry.
We're gonna start here. So this is kind of what sparked a lot of this right here. CNN came out and raised the alarm flags of how Kamala is doing so bad in the polls, especially with black men. But not just black men. It's like across the board, but especially with black men. So let's watch this real quick.
And sometimes there's a trend line that I never noticed before and make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November.
So I will point out, when you look at those numbers, let's go back and look at those numbers. You can clearly see a progression of like black men are starting to be like, wait a minute, throughout the years, right? You look at Obama, 81 points up. And then Hillary, it goes 63. Biden, it goes 53. And now Kamala's 41. So there's like a progression, right? So, but the frightening thing is they're looking at it because she's black, they were thinking it would be Obama numbers. You know what I mean? So now they're looking at, well, why isn't the identity thing working on black men anymore? You know, they don't see it as like, nah, black men have been moving slowly away from y'all.
Why aren't these dummies falling for this?
Exactly. Get in line, you Negroes. Yeah, but I just wanted to point out that it's been a progression away from it since Obama.
Right.
You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, you know, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened.
And when you look at the age range, it's 18 to 44, and we're at the like top end of that range.
Right. At least I give them credit for being fair about that.
I was gonna say, I'm surprised they're bringing that up.
I mean, to be fair, CNN you've been seeing them kind of change their tone. I know they're under new leadership now. And they brought in that one guy who's like the conservative voice on those panels who pushes back against them all the time. Right. They've been doing a little bit more fair assessments.
I've seen Brian, is it Brian Allen?
Brian Stelter?
Byron
Donaldson.
Donaldson.
Yes. Yeah, I think they were looking at their numbers. Right. And they're like, yo, we're dying.
You have to. Yeah. If you're going to do these kind of pollings and you're going to kind of make these comparisons, you just can't compare Obama to everybody else. Yeah. Because it's like basically, like you're right. They're basically saying how come you don't like her like you like Obama?
Yeah.
So everything is
But
going to
that's
be,
what they're doing.
that's the Mediterranean sick is Obama.
Yeah. But they don't understand the fact that like during that time, that was the beginning of YouTube.
Yes.
When Obama came in, that was the beginning of the internet. That was the beginning of people being able to research things and understand what's going on. So now, and men are the biggest demographic on YouTube are young men.
Right.
So when you look at the amount of information men are taking in about things, they're slowly being awakened to like, yo, y'all been lying to us.
And that, which is, you're 100% right. But then there's another aspect, which is like what Obama had achieved was a historic thing. I can get people feeling like this has to happen because it's a historic event.
I want to see it. Yeah.
Right. That has worn off. We've had plenty of time for them to do something. They have done nothing. You know what I mean? So that the nostalgia or this glorification of a black president, that has, you can't trick people with that no more.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That you can't be like, hey, there's a black guy playing baseball.
Yeah.
That's already happened.
Yeah.
We're not gonna be excited because of that.
Right.
Is he good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not gonna be excited about stuff like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So this is what they're failing to say is the policies. You know, it's just voting for them because they're black.
It's not working.
That's not working
on men.
On men, yes,
Right.
yes.
So we'll keep going on this and see when they get to women.
In this case, how about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture. You know, we're looking once again at younger black men. It looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon. It's the same thing among black men overall. Again,
It's
part of the
definitely
similar-
better with the older black men. I've seen it a lot.
A little bit. Like, look at the numbers here.
I've seen it a lot,
Yeah.
though, like when I talk to older black men.
Yeah. Because older
they
black
watch.
men are more of the boomer era. They still watch CNN, MSNBC. They still listen to what Al Sharpton has to say.
They're not on YouTube.
Yeah.
No, they're not on YouTube. Yeah.
right.
as much. So.
Yep.
They tend to still have trust in the media.
And not only that, but they're very fearful of being outspoken. A lot of people will be turned off by them.
Yeah.
As much as they talk about, as much as the older generation will talk about the younger generation being followers and not leaders, they are actually the followers and not the leaders. Because what they'll do is they'll accuse younger men, oh, you follow your friends, where you getting your information from? They won't, even though they may not agree with policies, they won't come against it because they'll ostracize themselves from friend groups, social circles.
Yeah.
They couldn't say this around their clubs or their church. They couldn't speak freely like this, so they have to kind of go along with that. They're very fearful of being ostracized from saying any of this.
And also, they're fearful of the fact that a lot of them have lived through the civil rights movement.
That's true too.
And a lot of them have seen real racism, real,
That's true.
you know, discrimination by the police, real like bad things happen, or at least to their parents and to themselves.
Right.
Where
I'll say more their parents.
Right.
They're taking that, they're making it their own, but they really haven't seen that generation. The 80s and the 90s, they would have been our age in the 80s and the 90s. And I think they're taking that and they're making it more of an issue than it actually is, because they actually prospered. If you look at the numbers, they prospered way more financially than we ever did.
Right.
Especially now when you look at the prices of homes, gas, all stuff like that. So yeah, I understand the vestige of that.
But they were still young kids during the civil rights movement.
That's true.
So they saw that. They saw Martin Luther King get killed. They saw JFK get killed. They saw, you know what I mean? Like they're more connected to that time because it happened
That's true.
in their lifetime. You know what I mean? So they still have that fear of they're trying to take us back to that, you know, because that's the fear tactic that's used all the time.
Right.
They're, you know, Trump is going to take us back to that, you know.
And I don't think I know that that's part of it. I don't think they believe it. I just think that they're very fearful of being outed or ostracized from the bigger group if they say we don't like the direction the Democrats are going. I know this specifically, especially with black Christians. Yeah. Who, when Obama started pushing the gay agenda, they wouldn't speak out against him because he is black to them.
He was the almighty to them.
Right. So they can't come against him.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. And then you start hearing things like, well, he ain't just a black president. He's everybody's
president. He's got to be everybody's president. You know? But see, that's why they can't be mad that they now, when they see the trend moving away, they send him back out there to wrangle everybody back in because they're like, wait, but y'all followed everything he said before.
Yeah, he's essentially replaced Clinton as the wrangler.
Yeah.
Clinton was the wrangler until this Me Too thing took a weird turn and people started pointing fingers at Clinton.
It's crazy how much they've ignored that though. Like they sent him back out there. I got clips of him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna show.
He ain't doing so good.
Watch that.
Yeah. But let's get through this first.
Okay.
So let's finish watching this clip.
Trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85, then you see 71 with Clinton, 69, Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak, only a 54-point margin. Now, again, still winning him by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to, certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic
Is she
candidate.
getting any relief with black women?
All right. So, you know, we're talking about the trend line, right? And black women, look, she's doing better with black women than she is doing among black men. But here, there isn't a trend line almost until we get to Kamala Harris. So, again, this is a block.
Look at that.
Still going down.
93
That's crazy.
and 93.
That's crazy.
Biden and Hillary. Trump, Obama and
To
Hillary.
me, that's like I'm not even thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just doing.
Just doing what I'm told.
I'm not even. I don't need no evidence.
Right.
I don't need nothing.
Right.
You know.
But I mean, when you think of women's role, they're not built to be the ones to be spearheading things. They're kind of built to be like, let me take in the information and just make the safe choice. You know what I mean? Let me do the thing that keeps my security and you know that's
they're not made to deal with the onslaught.
right.
They're meant to come under the covering of
Yeah.
the onslaught.
Right.
And typically, a lot of times, it's a 1 or 2 voter issue.
Yeah.
Like women's rights and
Yeah.
abortion. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
That's really...
And I don't like that person. Or women heavily lean into identity politics a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting that even with Kamala, the numbers are way down.
Right.
You know, so it's not him just singling out black men.
Right.
This is why you're going to see that it's become a huge
And you
issue.
know what's so funny? My 83-year-old aunt,
Yeah.
she was always a Democrat. Well, now she's such a strong Republican that she attacks people now. When they come to her house, who are you voting for? No, you can't vote. Like, and my cousin says to her, Mom, please, you got to calm down.
Yeah.
She gets
Can't get emotional about
She
it.
gets so emotional.
Yeah.
Like, she gets so upset.
Yeah, but Kamala's.
She's 83. I'm sorry, 88.
Wow.
I think people like Kamala is just not a good candidate, and she never was. She never was popular before. People
Nobody
can see
voted for her.
People can also see phony, and I think all of the narrative spin, all of the protection from the media, all of the the just gaslighting that's being done is not working like they thought it would. So then they're like, okay, we got to send Obama out there. Before we get to the Obama thing, I just wanted to show Joy Reid. So the talking heads of the media, Operation Mockingbird plants. First of all, Joy Reid is not a foundational Black American. Her family are immigrants. She
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caribbean, right? I think.
No, from Africa.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is her
Reid's not African.
calling out. This is her calling out Black men to vote for.
Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks? With these claims that Trump is surging with Black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls, despite all the Hitler talk. Yes, this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among Black and brown men too. This happens to be a global phenomenon.
It's a global phenomenon. There's all these Black and brown fascists now. That's
You gotta put that out there.
That's her answer.
Let's go all the way to that.
So the fact that you don't want to support Kamala,
It's not because of the economy failing, inflation, wars. They're fascists.
Yeah,
This is the issue that I've been seeing a lot. Because I see certain people, online speaking about this stuff, and they go to the extreme.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like you can't even talk to them because they're just accusing.
Yeah.
Right? So you can't even have a conversation. Like, all right, I can't even talk to that person because they're just gonna go straight to the accusing. They got all the talking points that they were given. And they've done no research whatsoever. And they say they do research by just listening to the talking heads and then saying I did research.
Yeah, she wants to set the narrative. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's just, dude, it's this accusatory stuff where they just said it. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And you can't talk to anybody who's of that same mindset because they've already made their mind up. And that's the thing that
they don't even want to know. Like, so what is it that made you?
That's my point. Like, Joe, like if instead of like just jumping to well,
there's
now
these
we got
pockets of black and brown fascists.
Yeah. Instead of jumping to that, it should be like, well, what's going on here?
Why is the numbers trending?
Why can't you go out and talk to some people? Find some people that are going to vote for Trump and just talk to them and see what they say, because that's not going to fall in their favor.
And that's a tactic that they use. Of course, we're going to set the narrative that black men and brown men are fascists and they're Hitler and this and that. But really what it is in case she loses, they're going to say, hey, the reason why she didn't lose is because all these black men turned against her. They're already setting the narrative.
Or why she lost.
Why she lost, yes.
Yeah. Well, I remember the last election, they were mad at black men for not coming out and voting harder for Biden, remember?
Right. After Biden said,
if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Yeah. Real quick, Courtney said...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
After Charlemagne did challenge and said, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And he was fed up and said...
Hey, come on, man.
If you ain't vote for me, he just wanted to shut up.
Yeah. Yep. Courtney said, Trump has the Democrats campaigning in PA, a swing state, like crazy. They are scared. Yeah, I mean, it feels like desperation to me all the way across the board because
it is desperation,
they tried the tactic of hiding her for the longest. And when they saw that she was plummeting, especially after the debate that they swear they won, but the numbers don't show that, now they said, okay, well, we got to put her on everything. And then that's backfiring because she's not good at that.
Because she says that she's
I'm a middle-class woman.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's her answer to everything. But let me show you guys another example. Miss Sunny Hostin, who is also not a black woman, was on The View. And this is her opinion of people that voted for Trump, black men.
But, we can't poll people's hearts and we can't see into people's hearts. And so when we're looking at these polls and we're looking at who is voting for Trump, you've got 53% of white women that voted for him in 2020. We've got to reach those women. We've got to reach those ridiculous, crazy black men that did vote for Trump. We've got to reach those people. We've got to
ridiculous, crazy black men.
Man, they're calling them names. Like, what the heck?
Like, this is their strategy to just, and they think that this is going to win over black men. That black men are going to be like, y'all are right, ladies. We've been crazy all this time.
And what's crazy is that even them doing that, you see, it's for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
It's just to win.
Yep.
It's not to grow something. It's like, I'm not even going to go there. No, I'm not even going to go there. But it's just, you see what their heart is.
Yeah.
You see what they care about. They're telling you.
Well,
they're literally telling you.
We see it that, like we were saying, women heavily get brought into identity politics a lot easier than men. And I think they desperately want to see a woman president and want to see and especially people, they want to see a woman of color president, especially people like her and Joy Reid. And of course, they're already bought into the Democrats, period. Trump is a fascist. He's Hitler. He's a racist. So to them, it's a no-brainer. So you have to the only explanation could be that you are crazy, and
but it just shows you, dude, that you have no business being responsible for talking to people. You have no business running a country. You have no business being on media. Really,
you're displaying your lack of care.
You're showing you don't really care, and your care is the way you care is very selfish.
Yeah,
it's very selfish. You only care about yourself and what you feel like you want.
Right.
It's like a parent that is like telling their kids, get out my face until you're doing all the things that I think you should do.
Right.
Then I'm going to act like this is my daughter and I love her so much and she's amazing.
Yeah.
But until then, I don't care about you.
And I think this is a huge testament to the problem with and the reason why we're bringing this up is there's a problem when you try to lump people into these racial categories and you try to predict how they're going to move and how they're going to vote, and if we do this, then black people, that'll play well to black people. Like we need to get away from that, period.
It's all manipulation.
It's manipulation.
It's all witchcraft.
Exactly.
Two things I would say. Number one, I would say this idea that I see, two things are happening. Number one is they've been preaching that black people are under attack by white supremacy.
Yeah.
And the very first chance they get to scold black men for not following orders, they jump right in and use the same tactics, knowing that if any Republican said this, they would be all over it.
They would be all over it.
And it would be 24-hour news.
Yeah.
Donald Trump said.
Yeah.
J.D. Vance said this. Then the other thing is this, is black women of higher education feeling they had the right and authority to scold black men like boys.
Yep.
Because what you're doing is you're saying, essentially, you're not smart enough to make decisions
Right.
on your future. I am smart enough
But
to make it for
isn't
you.
that how a lot of black women treat their relationships and their marriages these
they
days?
They openly say that.
Yeah.
So what
like
it
these
is,
women on The View talked about how their husbands are idiots and
Right.
can't do anything for
Right.
themselves.
Right. So I think what they're doing, knowingly and unknowingly trying to shame black men, unknowingly proving why there's this separation between black men when there's not this cohesive nature. Because what you're doing is you're not saying, hey, listen, hold on. If this dropped, because clearly CNN had this poll and showed it's trending down.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some black men in here and let's answer these questions. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, if these women are concerned about why black men feel the way they do, let's have another. We sit down with black men and ask them, hey, what's happening with her policies or what she's saying that doesn't resonate with you?
Yeah.
But none of that is happening. I'm going to yell at you and scream at you. I'm going to call you an idiot. I'm going to call you a fascist. I'm going to talk down to you. The very thing that we're telling you that Trump and people like him will do, we're doing to you.
Right.
But we're not racist for doing it.
Right.
You just need to fall in line.
Yep.
Right?
And then we're going to send Obama out, who is y'all's daddy, and tell y'all to get in line. He is the...
Because he fell in line.
He's the ultimate house Negro. Going to tell y'all slave Negroes.
He did twang it up a little bit.
That y'all need to get in line for Massa. Massa is very upset right about now. And if y'all don't get in line, we all's going to get in trouble.
And I can't help but think.
So let's play it, because let's show you his reasoning for why black men aren't voting for Kamala. First of all, let me give a shout out to our Irish brother, Brendan Lennon. He said, hey guys, how's it going? What's up, brother?
Is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
Speak to y'all, the brothers, okay?
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain.
See, and men are not stupid, because they know that this woman did not grow up like us. Mm-hmm. She does not understand the struggles and pain. She grew up with an Indian mother who and didn't grow up with her father, and grew up in Canada in an upper middle class. You know, she tries to paint it as some I grew up in a middle class family. She grew up in a society where she wasn't around many black people.
But Obama didn't grow up like that either.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, Candace Owens did how she's been digging into Kamala's past.
I saw that, yeah.
Well, she did a breakdown of Obama's today. And she was talking about how, like, back when this came up in the past, she kind of dismissed it and thought that, like everyone else did, like, oh, the only reason why they're bringing this up is because he's the black president. They don't like it, so they're being racist about questioning where his origin story. But when you really look into it, and the fact that he actually grew up in Indonesia, and his name was Barry Soetoro because that was his stepfather's name. His mom married an Indonesian man who worked for the Indonesian government, there's registries of him at the school named Barry Soetoro. You know what I mean? And then after that, coming and living with his grandparents in Hawaii, who are upper class white folks. You know what I mean? So him acting like he's one of the brothers who understands the struggle is a complete farce as well, because he did not grow up as a Black Americans normally do. You know what I mean? He didn't grow up with a Black father. His father wasn't around. His father is from Kenya, as we all know. So and then he grew up with a stepfather who's Indonesian.
Right.
You know, so
but they look at him and they accept it.
Because he's learned, both of them have kind of learned the caricature.
What's funny is
of the Black,
lingo,
You know what's funny? Because I'm looking at you right now, and you've had more of a Black experience,
right,
in terms of how we grew up, and
But I look further from Black than them.
That's why. So it's like that's why to me it's so like even to do all that, it just annoys me because you don't know, You don't. Like, none of this matters in terms of even us trying to pick apart and figure out, well, did they really have the Black experience type? Like, all that stuff is so stupid and surface.
It is.
Here, when I look at them talking and acting, this is desperation.
Yes.
But the fact that, like I said, we're talking about it, but then it's like the fact that they're trying to go there.
Yeah.
Right? And bring
this is someone
there.
who knows your struggle.
And then we got to be like, yo, you didn't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we even have to
point that out,
Right.
because that shouldn't matter at all.
No, it shouldn't.
Are you a good leader? Are you someone that we want to vote for? Do you have good ideas to move this country out of the bad place it's in right now, or not?
Yeah.
And it's clear that people don't believe that Kamala's the one to do that.
Right.
You know, so trying to make it about, and he goes on to say that, like, Black men just don't want to see a woman in leadership. So basically calling them misogynists.
Right.
You
Feeding
know?
into the stereotypes.
Exactly.
Right.
And
What's so crazy?
yes.
For the past 3.5 years, seriously, we did not see her.
Right.
We didn't see her.
Well, we saw her.
Not much.
We saw her every time she went in front of somebody and said some stuff that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
We saw her.
But not much, but even anywhere. Like, and then all of a sudden she's the
6 months ago, they were debating on CNN whether or not Biden should run with a different VP because she was so bad that she was probably dragging down his ticket. Those clips exist all over X. Like 6 months ago, they were talking about that. Maybe he should run with someone else.
Yeah.
But now, as soon as she announced, oh, she's the best thing in the world. We never said those things. But I want to play this clip because Nina Turner, who is she was a congresswoman, and she used to be on Bernie's team when he was running. She actually went on I think CNN and made a statement about this and basically, scolded Obama for this.
Why are Black men being lectured to? Why are Black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group?
A tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are Black men being lectured to? Why are Black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out Black men is wrong. And some of the Black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to Black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from Black women. And why? as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to interrupt you, Nina, but do you think he's right that...
Look, she cuts her off right when she was about to get into her record.
Yep, nope. She's a
that's one of her fraternity sisters right there.
Oh, this is not going the way you want it
Yep,
to.
let me cut her off and get to the talking points. But she said something very key there because they played their hand in a way where they exposed how they view the black voter.
Sure.
Because they want them to all vote as a monolith in one voting block.
Right.
And if the fact that men are straying away a little bit more than women, they said, okay, Obama, you need to get these Negroes in check. Because if we lose them, we're going to be in trouble.
And they're not confident she can.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, they're not coming out and saying, all men are not feeling Kamala. She's doing terrible with men, period. They're doing a whole, like, how do we capture men campaign right now. And it's failing miserably because she got Tim Walz.
And it's not just because she's a woman. It's because of her policy stance. It's because of...
who she picked as VP.
Who she picked as VP. She hasn't sat down and done the interviews and the issues that are really affecting Americans. She's on a podcast with a woman who has a sex podcast.
Yeah.
This is what you're doing. You're not going out to actually address the issues that could fix this economy. You find yourself on a podcast with a woman who talks about penis and butts.
And saying how men have no issue, there's no laws made against men's bodily autonomy.
So,
like what?
So men see this and men understand the foolishness of it.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. And no one is addressing it from that standpoint. She's not actually going out to address the issues that concern Americans, men, whatever you want to say. But she's finding herself on these podcasts that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Telling us about how she grew up. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
How are you going to fix the economy? That's what we're talking about.
Right. And that's what men care about. Men care about how are we going to move this country forward? How are we going to dig out of this hole? How are we going to have, how price is going to be lower? We don't care about, how many transgender people are going to be able to get surgeries in prisons. We don't care about, tampons in boys' bathrooms.
No,
we don't care
about that.
Yeah.
But like James said, they showing themselves by doing these things.
Yeah.
Obama, all of them by doing
this backfired.
Oh, this did not play well at all.
Stephen A. Smith did a whole lecture on him.
Yeah.
Everybody's
coming out doing stuff. Tavis Smiley came out and did a whole thing
because
about...
he's feeding into the trope that black men are misogynists, and he's labeling that because he wants to threaten them.
Yeah.
He's threatening them. Oh, you don't want me to call you this now.
Right.
He's threatening them into vote for her no matter what.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson did the same thing.
D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, what's the other? Smiley, Ricky Smiley.
But this is why I've said this. There's a black elite class that are all fraternity members, and you vote blue no matter who, but it's very specific with them because the black elite class are usually business, they're into politics, but they're fraternity members, and they have a loyalty to one another, the AKAs, the Q dogs, all of these. If you ever look at their affiliation, that's what they go with and they ride with no matter what.
Yeah.
But what is the overarching thing that keeps them united? Like, from all this? Like, what's the overarching thing that together in this fraternity stuff? And what do you think that is?
Power, money,
greed, power, like he said, influence.
Yeah. Because you're
to be elite, to have that status
within that black circle.
Right.
Because
gatekeeper.
You're invited into a club.
But that's the house Negro. That's why I was saying they brought out Steven from Django to tell everybody else.
He's good. Obama's good.
Yeah. He's good.
Yeah. If you look at Obama's portfolio, life is good.
Paris says, did you say tampons in a boy's bathroom?
Yeah. That's
She doesn't know.
that's Kamala Harris's VP. He passed a bill. That's why they call him Tampon Tim, because he passed a bill to put tampons in boys' bathrooms because boys have periods too.
It's interesting because the last probably 7 years we've been hearing a lot of, maybe even more than that, been hearing a lot of woke, right? All the woke stuff, the woke. Who had the song They Woke? Childish
Gambino.
Yeah, this woke. But it's funny because it's like literally the
Opposite. It's an inversion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually go back to sleep.
Go back to sleep.
You know? And I was thinking about this. I want to read this because it just makes me think about in the Bible it talks about the sluggard, right? But I think we have to think about it in a way where, because how our work that we do is actually nothing compared to the work of righteousness. And the work of righteousness is actually the things that we do that are the overlooked things in this world, right? They're the things that we do that nobody cares about, but it's those little things that how we love people, how we treat people, that nobody's looking for, right? They want, when people want to treat people a certain way to
in
get,
front of others to show,
right. But when you're doing it and you're not asking for anything, and you're just doing it every day, right? Every day, because that's when it matters. It's every day.
Yep.
These things are overlooked. So, because being a sluggard doesn't mean you don't work. You know what I mean? It means you don't work in the right way.
Right.
Right. So this is Proverbs 6:6. It says, "Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider her ways, be wise. Without having any chief officers or rulers, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest." And I think that's connected to, like, you don't have nobody to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
But yet you know what you're responsible for, right? You know what you have to do. Because so many of us need to be led and pushed in a certain direction.
Right. Given direction.
Yeah. She prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. How long will you lie there, O sluggard, when you arise from your sleep? So that, when will you arise from your sleep? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber. And I believe this is what's happening. People are being robbed, right? People were being robbed, but now people are starting to say, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know? So it says, poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man. A worthless person, a wicked man, goes about with crooked speech. So now this is now you're working in that sluggardness, right? You go about, you think, now you realize, like, oh, I can't get things the way I want. I thought I could. Now I'm gonna go even deeper. This is, now you're going into wickedness. Now you become just like those people. Right. So a wicked man goes about with crooked speech, winks his eyes, signals with his feet, points his fingers, right? Pointing your fingers at everybody. With perverted heart devises evil, continually sowing discord. Therefore calamity will come upon you, will come upon him suddenly. In a moment he will be broken beyond healing. And the inversion of that is, like, I was thinking about Malachi 4, where it says that those who fear the name of the Lord, the Son of Righteousness, will rise. S-U-N. So think about light, right? And the morning, right? Will rise. The Son of Righteousness will rise upon you with healing in your wings. Total opposite of that, right? So that's true. That's a true awakening, right? You're being awakened. And I think that's the opposite, where we're humbling ourselves and saying, all right, what can we do? You're actually taking on responsibility. What can I do in my own life? You know, this isn't working for me. All my vain pursuits of my own life, like, think about selfishness. Selfishness causes you to go out and do all these things. And then people are like, yeah, he's doing it.
Yeah.
But you're still asleep. You're a sluggard, because everything you do in the end it's gonna amount to nothing, because you're only thinking about yourself, and you become untrustworthy. And that's like the core of family and love, right? It's the core. It's the beginning of it. And I was thinking about this with my kids, talking to my kids about this, and we were talking about, like, how trust and also faith, right? And I was saying to them, so guys, do you believe that I would cheat on your mother? Do you believe that I would? Do you think we would ever get divorced? And they're like, no. I'm like, why? I'm like, because the way you guys are, because the way you guys act, because they were like just telling me. I'm like, but the funny thing is, you don't have, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or 20 years from now.
Yeah.
So what do you have? That's faith.
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you, like, that's faith. You're
Yeah.
trusting in the evidence of what you see, right? From us.
Yeah.
That's faith. So we're building a core, and we have to work at it every day. Every day I have to discount myself for you guys and for your mom. I have to do that every day.
Right.
The moment I start looking at myself and I'm like, just doing music. Oh, I'm gonna do this for me. I'm gonna do this thing. If I'm only looking at, if I put music first, I'm out of order. Right? If I put you guys before God, I'm out of order.
Right.
Because I'm gonna put you guys first and I'm trying to please you guys. But now, if I don't please God first, I'm gonna mess up.
Right.
And now you really can't trust me because I'm gonna make a whole lot of mistakes trying to please you.
Right.
So there's an order to it. And that's what Jesus does for us. He becomes the example so that we now we understand what trust is, right? We understand what faith is. And through that, we can bring that to our families. We can bring that to our lives. And so love is the key in all this. We learn how to interact in the world and work righteousness, which is a light, right? You can't see and have hope. And that's the point. You can't see with hope without love, which is also people working in righteousness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, if you don't have that, you're always going to be distrusting things. If you don't have that in your family, if your dad is out there cheating, right? But he's saying one thing to you, but then you see the other. How quick is it that son's gonna grow up and be like, my dad, he's BS. My dad's a hypocrite.
Right.
So now if he doesn't have that core understanding of trust in the household, he's gonna go outside. He's not gonna trust. How hard is it gonna be for him to trust people?
Right.
Right? The ones that he's gonna get close to are the ones that he can relate to and the same type of victimhood. Like, oh, you went through that, I went through that.
Right.
And I think that's what lulls us to sleep a lot of times, right?
Right.
And this is what the media has been doing. They've been lulling so many to sleep by getting people to be victims in the same stuff.
And connect
right?
through those mentalities,
Yeah.
the mindset of, well, this is how we've been wronged, and this is why we need to band together.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Democratic Party has been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
And finally, I think people are saying, yo, this isn't really serving me. This isn't helping me.
Yeah.
This isn't helping me. It's not helping my family. It's not helping our people.
Yeah.
You know, and we need to do something else.
Yeah. I mean, that takes me right to this next clip I want to show, because this dude, Anton Daniels, who's been kind of like blowing up, he's been on Fox News doing interviews. He used to be in the manosphere space, and now he's kind of like coming into political commentary. But he was on a panel. Yes, Mom.
I'm sorry to interrupt like that. Go ahead.
He was on a panel, and he was saying that someone actually asked him, like, well, then what is your reason for voting for Trump? You know what I mean? Because he's a black man, you know, and he's been outspoken about this.
Stuff.
Yeah, so I thought his answer was on point. So
before you show that, Ferris is asking who. She don't even know that, you know, Tim, the Kamala's vice president is the one that said about the tampon.
wait, what?
You know how you said about the tampons in the men's room?
Yeah.
So she's saying who, because I guess she doesn't know. You know,
She said how.
Right, how or who? Yeah, how.
Listen, I don't know. that's a bill that he.
No, but I'm saying she probably doesn't even know that. That is him saying that about.
Well, I mean, listen. There's a thing called Google. You can type it in right now.
No, that's what I was just going to ask you to explain that.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. I'm on to something
Okay.
else, so I'm not gonna go back to that right now. But yeah, let me play this clip.
I want to know why you're advocating for you're voting for Trump or you support him. So can you tell me the policies the reason? I just want to know what policy.
Because it's funny, because she thought he wasn't going to be able to list any policies because, you know, the thing is Kamala has no policies, blah, blah, blah.
When you ask,
right.
ask people who follow her,
They have no answer. Yeah, but so she tried to turn it on him, and he's smiling because he has the answers.
I noticed that Kamala Harris is filling a lot of Trump's talking points. So, for example, no taxes on tips. I do believe that we need to have a lower tax rate across the board. One of the things that he stands on is that we need to have an audit of the federal government, because the federal government is not spending our money correctly. I think that there's a lot of mismanagement. I think that there's a lot of waste. So a proposed policy that creates a governing board that's led by Elon Musk, a true businessman, to go in and do an evaluation of every single branch of government in order to make sure that we're running lean. I stand for that.
Listen, and what other politician is going to do something like that?
To me, that's a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because the government has just gotten away.
Yeah.
So big.
Yeah.
So big.
So big.
And I mean, the last time they audited the Pentagon, wasn't it like $3 trillion they couldn't find? That they just don't know what happened to?
Yep.
But I think if you look at what Elon Musk did when he bought Twitter, now X, like how he went in there and saw all the bloat that they were spending on nonsense, and he trimmed that all the way down, and the media came out and said, X is gonna collapse. Twitter's gonna collapse. Elon Musk is ruining it. He's removing all these what are they called, the places where people work in the company. He's removing all the different departments. He's removing all these departments. He's getting rid of this. He's getting rid of that. It's not going to be around. People. I'm quitting Twitter. They're back now. And X is stronger than ever.
I'm leaving this country if he gets it.
Right. But it's just funny how and then people were showing the difference between the staff at that time. They showed a picture of that staff compared to the staff now, and of course it was like 1,000 women and like all of these like lefty looking people that have these like jobs where they're making six figures doing nothing. And he was able to weed through all of that, and there's like maybe 20 people that are like serious engineers still working there, and it's moving swimmingly. You know what I mean? So him taking that concept into the government is what I think Trump is excited about. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't think most people realize when we talk about the debt of the USA, when that debt clock thing, do people understand that that's the government?
Yes.
Like, I don't think people understand. Like, that's government spending.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they're caught up on identity politics. They're not looking at what their generations are going to inherit. We're almost $40 trillion in debt?
Yeah. People don't think of that. They don't think that far, dude. That's why when they were just like, give me them stimmy checks, they're
PPP,
not thinking.
All of them got arrested.
The PPP loans. What she's proposing for her black, I'm going to get into that right after this, what she went on the Shade Room of all places to tell people about her plan for black men. It's hilarious. But let me keep playing, because that's just the start of it. He's already touching on something that people don't even understand how big that is. The fact that he's going to audit the government.
So big. It's so big, man. Anyway.
Stand for less government. I don't think that government should play a larger role in our life, which is also.
But
I'm sorry. You gonna let me answer the question?
Can't even let him talk.
You're right. Go ahead.
Not going the way she wanted.
Yep.
Smaller government, which also spills over into the whole reproductive rights issue, because I don't think that everything should be governed on a federal level. I think that things need to go back into the state.
Exactly.
And people vote based off of their interests. And then as a result, that's where the law stands. I also believe in more pro-business, and I believe in capitalism at an extreme level. I don't believe in these socialist agendas where you can then tax your way and continue to raise taxes on people that already pay the overwhelming majority of the taxes inside of this country. I do like the idea of no tax on overtime. Again, I know that Kamala Harris stole the no tax on tips. And if you look at some of the things that he's done and implemented, for example, as lowering the tax rate, what it did was it generated more revenue for the federal government, because it allowed for businesses to then bring the majority of their revenue over into the United States of America and invest in manufacturing.
Yep.
I do support tariffs, and obviously the Biden and Harris administration, they support tariffs also, because they left the overwhelming majority of the tariffs that Trump implemented against China and other places. in this trade war. I love the fact that he went back and he renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement, which made us more competitive, and it helps to save the steel industry. I do believe in tariffs because it allows for us. That's the original way in which we were building this country, was tariffs. Because tariffs and taxes on things that were coming in when people decided that they wanted to do business, which allows for us to be more competitive with China. Because if you look at how they do business in China, Tesla is the only company that was able to go over there and not have to partner with a company in which they stole our proprietary technology to then use against us over here in the United States of America. And so when you look at a lot of these proxy wars, which I'm against all of these wars, and the last 12 of the 16 years in which Democrats have been in office, they've been warmongers. And so when you seen that there was no new wars under Trump and that we need to spend more money on American citizens and here in the United States of America, I also support the border policies that Trump is trying to implement, which is a continuation of what Obama implemented, but then they went against it when Trump then became president of the United States of America. I believe that we need to have stronger borders. I believe in immigration, but legal migration. And I believe that we need to vet people that come over into this country. It's a lot more policies that I actually support and I believe in, both in the past and what's proposed in the future. But I think that Trump ultimately, I don't want handouts. I don't want people giving out money. I don't want to become a socialist environment. I don't want to pay more taxes. I believe that the system is already okay from what we had, so we do need to go back to that. More importantly, I believe in removing government to allow for us to thrive individually. I don't believe in giving out money. I don't believe in being overtaxed. I don't believe in larger government. I don't believe in open borders. I don't believe in being a warmonger. I don't believe in giving money over to Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel. I don't believe in proxy wars. I don't believe in any of that. So for me, it's very simple. It's very clear. I believe that Trump is a person for everybody, not based off of identity politics. And I also don't support the fact that government has to have a hand in every single thing that we do. It creates more bureaucracy. And I think that all of these numbers are inflated. If you see what's happening in all of these cities across the United States of America, everywhere where it's blue, it's absolutely a death toll. Chicago is a death city. Oakland is a death city. New York is suffering. All of these places are under the burden of these same policies that's been implemented. We need more police. We need stronger police presence. We need more police training. And the whole immunity thing is fake also, because it doesn't absolve people from being responsible for the decisions that they make when they police and citizens. It doesn't. Especially when they follow in their training in the manual. So all of these false narratives, all of these false things that they telling y'all is a lie. And I can't think of one single Kamala Harris policy that wasn't copied from Trump that would then lead us to believe that we're going to have a better space than we was in the last 3.5 years. We're not.
That was almost 5 minutes of him laying out everything.
Yes.
Like, he did such a great job of just nailing every point right there.
Right.
And it's like, how can you deny any of those things?
They will still deny.
Absolutely.
No, but that's fine.
Because he's a racist.
They can deny it, but what Jamie's pointing out is this: she asked it in a cynical way because she thought he wasn't going to be able to name anything. See, because there's been footage of people asking why you want to vote for her, and they can't name policies because she hasn't listed any, right? And we have 3 years. We can compare 4 years when Trump was in. We can compare the 3.5 years when she was in. And we could look at the policies. When asked if she would change anything that Joe Biden has done, she has listed nothing. She said, I wouldn't change a thing.
She said nothing comes to mind.
Right. So how are we going to go in a new direction if you can't see anything that has been wrong since he took over?
Nothing comes to mind because she don't know anything.
Yeah, well, she just did an interview with Charlamagne, and he asked her, like, don't the Democrats have to take some responsibility for what's going on at the border? She said no. She said no.
Right. Well, she ain't worried about it. Nobody's running up in her house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So she's good.
One thing
go ahead.
You want to?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing I got from this that I think it's like something slight, but I think we need to pay attention to is women. This whole feminism thing has empowered women to feel, and I'll say emphasis on the feel like they have the right to speak when they don't. And
okay.
And no,
okay.
and
No,
I'm
like good.
I'm saying that because if you don't have anything of context, then you need to not speak.
Right.
But they feel
right.
like they can speak, so then they're going to speak.
Well, because a lot of them have these pieces of paper that they accumulated at a university that they feel gives them the right to speak over you.
Right.
You know.
But I'm gonna say this on the other side. For men, I think especially in the black circle, which I think I'm seeing, like, from him, gives me hope. We're seeing men starting to take their role back. Yeah, where they're stepping into it and saying, even in this, like, to I don't want to say shut a woman up, but to calm her down. And you're gonna have to deal with some stuff. Yeah, right. And most men, they're like, I don't want to deal with this.
Well,
right?
that's because of what men have been taught. Men have been taught that you shouldn't speak up. You should kind of cater to feelings. Right. Yeah. You got to be careful. Men have been taught to tread lightly.
Masculinity.
To tread lightly.
Yeah.
But what I would say, to add on to what you're saying, is this: I don't think it is necessarily let's go after women to shut them up in that way. I think what you have to come with is the facts, because facts don't care about feelings, right? Now, you're entitled to your feelings, but you're not entitled to the facts, right? Right. So to me, it's like, you can feel a certain way. You can absolutely want her to win because she's a black woman. Right. Yeah, you're entitled to that. But you're not entitled to tell me
that I have to be
to be on board with that. Now, if you want to vote for that, and if that's the burning issue, if abortion rights is that's okay. Right. I'm not against you for that. I disagree with that. Right. I'm not against you for that. But you trying to convince me, because essentially what they're doing is they're playing their hand. Yeah. They've whittled black men down to just a bumbling idiot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they're mad that you're not. It's like it's like, I would equate it like this: the dad who wants to live out his sports dream through his son, but his son is not doing it, so he's mad at his son that he won't be passionate the way he's passionate. Right. And his son is like, I don't care about this. Right. And the dad is
doing this for you.
The dad loves this, but the son doesn't love it.
But the dad's looking like, you reflect on me.
You reflect on me because you're not, and that's essentially what's happening here. Yeah. So I think one things we can take out of this is what we have to do as men is not go out ready to bash women and politically and show them that we're better than them. No. What we have to do is go with the facts, right?
And stand our ground.
Stand our ground, not be combative. You don't have to curse. You don't have to scream. You don't have to yell. You don't have to call anybody names. But we're going to focus on things. See, she did that, like you said, with the hopes that he had nothing. Right. I just like him. Right. Right? Because Trump's a real end.
Right.
They see all the signs of people saying real ends for Trump and stuff like that. He's not doing that. Yeah. He's naming policies. He's agreeing with this, and this. If you come prepared, right? Then there's nothing else they can do. Yeah. Right? And you stand your ground. That's all.
Yeah. And so that's where I'm saying that men have to stand up, and we can't allow even a woman that seems, because a lot of the women that want, like, you see how she was going to cut him off, and then he said, hold up, don't cut me off. Like, basically.
Yeah. Can I finish?
Right. If he just allowed that, and he's just like, see how they are? You know what I mean? Like, that's the issue. Right. A lot of men are just like, see, that's why I don't want to get married.
Yeah, this is why I don't deal with it. Yeah. Right. That's why I don't even get involved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you just remove yourself from the space. Yep. So then you can't be mad that you're not there and they're kicking you out of the space. Yeah. Right? No, you have to occupy the space.
Learn to control your frustration. Yeah.
Yeah. Your responsibility has to supersede every feeling you have as a man, right? Yeah. So and just like a wife, what you're gonna I mean, as a husband with your wife, you're gonna give up because she's nagging. Yeah. You're gonna give up. No, you're gonna love her. So that's my point. My point is that love is a responsibility. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. And what love does is say, no, I'm gonna stand in this place and I'm gonna speak, like you said, and bring facts. Because this is the truth. Right. It's not about the truths that go with your feeling. My truth. No, that's feelings, right? Yep. But truth, if I hold the truth over all that stuff, truth is love, right? And those things. And so now you become a part of that change, that shift, right? And I think I'm starting to see that happen with people. People are taking on that response. Well, I say men are taking on that
especially
responsibility.
the younger men.
Yeah.
The younger men.
Yeah. That demographic, 18 to 44, that we're seeing the shift in. Yeah. I think it's a huge change happening.
And we're watching that they really don't have a plan for younger men.
Yeah.
Forget black for a second, but younger men. They have no plan for younger men.
First of all, let's go even further, especially when you look at the Democratic agenda over the last 10 years or so. Everything that we've been showing on here, they hate young men. They can't connect with them because they don't even like them.
And if you don't do what we tell you to do, you're an idiot.
They don't even understand them. And they're teaching them that everything that you like and everything about you that makes you you is bad. So you need to be more like the men that we want you to be like, which is not a man, you know? So men... Young men that have now taken a shining to Andrew Tate, the Joe Rogans, these type of people, they're like, no, I'd rather listen to that guy than what you're saying.
I don't want to live like that.
I've seen so many older women, I'll say like mom's age.
Boomers.
And older. Boomers, yeah. I've seen this so much, dude, where they have husbands, but the husbands, they
have no say.
They let her run the show.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, those women, their sons who aren't, usually the husbands, they're not their real dads, right? But those sons they're horrible.
Yeah.
They're not married.
Right.
They're out there hoeing.
Yep.
They're out there just doing whatever they want, right?
Yep.
And because the woman is ruling.
Yeah.
And they put that imagery on their sons. Right? They don't see their sons. Like, it'll be the same women. Or they'll be like, my son is the most... They'll put up a post on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
My son is the
most awesome
the
father.
best father in the world. Yet you got 5 kids out there by 5 different baby moms. And you're calling yourself a great father. That's not a good father.
And black men are calling out this kind of behavior too.
Right.
Because that whole, the manosphere thing kind of shifted. It became about... Yes, there is vestiges of the fresh and fit guys who are just nonsense.
Need to bang
guys.
as many chicks, yeah.
But then there's a group of men. Anton is one of them. I don't agree with everything Anton says, but there's a lot of them who have called out the behavior, right, and said that this is wrong. And if we're going to strengthen the black family, all families, but specifically because they always use this talking point, right. What we have to do is build up the family. We have to have a mother and a father in the home. We have to people push marriage, right, between a man and a woman, raising your children, right, teaching them that there's that we have to push that. We just can't push these policies.
So what you said right there, right? Which of the two parties would you say is most against that formula?
I mean, it's quite clear.
You see what I'm saying? So this is why they're
Wait,
losing young men.
Hold up. Isn't that what Obama said? It's quite clear.
Yeah.
Right?
And they see it, though.
I just want to point out, so Jeffrey, shout out to Papa Jeff. He said, nailed it. And Adamsfield put the fire emojis. But this was a while ago, and I think it was right after you said women shouldn't speak. I think they was referring to that.
Definitely don't mean that.
No,
Definitely don't mean that.
I'm joking. And then Adam said, Jezebel wants to be surrounded by eunuchs. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I saw this on X, and I had it saved away to play one day, and you brought it up, so I wanted to play this because we talk about this all the time. This guy breaking down, and he's a boomer, breaking down the marriage logic map, as he says.
Dawn and Laura, my wife Laura. Okay, if I'm wrong and Laura's right, this is a really easy one. Laura's right. That's simple. Thank you very much. That one seemed obvious to me. Believe it or not, from here, it gets complicated. Okay, if we're both right, it doesn't matter. Laura's right. Thank you very much. That's the key. I would rather be happy than be right. That's what I'm...
You hear that?
If I'm right and Laura's wrong, doesn't matter. Laura's still right. And if we're both wrong, Donna's wrong. If you're a single guy, take out your phone and take a photo of this.
And listen to the what he ends it with.
You're going to need to know it someday. I'd rather be happy than be right.
I'd rather be happy than be right. What kind of message is that?
Now, this is where we got to bring in white men because we're talking about black, because white men have set the tone for this.
Yep.
Yeah,
they are the
happy
ones.
Wife, happy life.
They're the ones who say this, and they have that has penetrated. Happy wife, happy life. That's not a black man thing. That's a white male thing.
But that's the weirdest
right?
thing, because I was gonna say that as a woman, I was gonna say that is the problem.
That is the problem.
Men have allowed themselves to be feminized by women,
Right.
and they've allowed it so long that now the younger generation
Well, they realize it's not working.
Yeah.
Because they end up in divorce anyway. You're miserable and you're cheating.
And you
got a
let this
cocaine
woman control
problem.
you for 20 years and then she divorces you? Like, what kind of
Come on now.
Why?
So, but that's what I'm saying. We have to address this thing because, I know we're speaking about black men, but this is American male problem.
Right.
Yeah. But again, let me...
It's out of order problem.
Let me say this. Like, when I say that women need to not talk, it's because
James like, oh boy,
no,
fix this.
Clean this up.
Fix this. We'll go back here.
Yeah, because what I'm what I'm saying is
Please
that
make that a soundbite.
what I'm saying is that it's out of when they're speaking out of their pain, their
Right.
fear, right? And that's where you get the woman's always right.
Yeah.
Right? It becomes it's out of their fear. They got to say what they're gonna say, and they need to be heard.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can hear somebody, but that don't mean they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. I'm part of that.
You have to bring it back to the truth.
Yeah.
You always have to bring it back to the truth. And that is the man's job.
Yep.
Right.
That is the man's job, to bring it back to the truth. And it actually settles the woman. If the woman is always right, then that means the woman has all the responsibility. We're talking about righteousness now, right?
Yep.
Being right. We're talking about righteousness. So if the woman bears all the responsibility, well, yeah, we're out of order. She was never meant to do that.
You're right.
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 So she's bearing all the responsibility.
Which builds resentment towards you.
Right.
Yeah.
And we allow it.
Yep.
And then you're like, yeah, but you're always right. Like, it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
It never ends.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they're calling Kamala Harris's cycle right now. They're calling it the doom spiral. Because it's like she has to get out in media to try to help her numbers, but the more she gets out of media, it's hurting her numbers. So then she has to get out in media more, and it's like they calling it the doom
Which is
spiral.
why I believe that it's important for us as men to be godly, to worship, to show order, right? Because we can, our wives can get frustrated, but we still have to lead in love. That don't mean you cuss her and you hit her,
Right.
You know what I mean? That don't mean there are gonna be times when your wife may get on your nerve. That don't mean you run out and go find somebody else.
Yep.
It's how you lead. We're not just saying look at the foolishness of women, because really the woman is setting the tone and the man is accepting it. You don't have to live in that space. You
Right.
can say, wait, hold on here. Something is wrong. Let's figure this out together.
Yeah.
Right? Because like you said, even though she wants to lead, that's being a leader and making decisions is stressful.
Yeah.
Right? So how do we come together? Well, look at the role of marriage. Let's look at it. And how do we come together and work together? And we're seeing these young men saying, wait a minute, all these men that are saying this, like this guy that just said that there, is he really happy though?
Yeah.
Because when you see him cut loose, because what older men don't realize young men do is they pay attention to life. You're fat, you're
Right,
overweight,
right.
you're miserable, your life sucks, you're working 80 hours a week.
Right.
Right? We look at your life and we could see that you're not happy.
Right.
This is not happiness. Just as much as we look at the muscle-bound dude in the gym, pumping steroids, we know he's not happy
He's
either.
not happy, yeah.
Right? So what's the balance? The balance is, do you love your wife? Do you love God? Do
Right.
you love your wife? And are you there for your children,
Right.
raising the next generation of leaders?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that same guy who says happy wife, happy life, or this guy who says my wife is always right.
He's miserable.
But not only that, it's like when he gets some freedom, when he goes on a work trip,
no.
and he's banging hookers in the hotel room.
What do you think happened in Costa Rica?
You know what I'm saying?
That is the extreme, but
But I'm saying, like,
But that happens.
You know how much that happens?
Oh, yeah.
That
Like,
happens.
These guys, when every chance they get,
Yes. They run into
'Cause they
prostitutes.
need an outlet.
Right.
They run into prostitutes. They're weak.
Yeah.
They're weak. All right. So, and because the woman thinks she has authority, he wouldn't do that because he's afraid of me.
Right.
So you think.
Right.
So no, we have to call out this kind of behavior because we're showing there's an inconsistency, and what they think is victory, what these women think is victory, is you find a man who knows how to hide.
Yeah.
Right. And women do it too.
Yep.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I think women think that their worth a lot of times is in what they can do, when that's not why men are even attracted to women. Men are attracted to women in their submission, or I would say in their walking in the grace of men.
Yeah.
Right. That's just like the church. The church walking in the ability of Jesus is the beauty.
Right.
When we learn to do that,
Right.
because you're actually giving up your so-called power that you really don't have,
Right.
But you want to show that you have it. I saw something the other day. It was like a real small reel, but real small reel. But it was funny because the woman, she like went on a trip or something. She comes back. The husband's like watching the kids, and she's like, "So how'd it go? There weren't any disasters or anything, were there?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, it was fine." He's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, keeps going. Wait. Nothing happened?
Yeah.
No, everything was cool. But you guys didn't, they were asking for me, weren't they? They were crying the whole time.
Right.
Did they keep bothering for me? No, they were good.
We were good, yeah.
But she keeps trying to insert herself like I'm needed.
Right.
Like that's not your role.
Yeah.
You know? That's
Yeah.
not who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of times women do that too, because when women have a tendency to want to be praised for what they bring to the table, right? Like what they do as a mother and
what
how
they
much
feel they're not being noticed for.
Right. So they sometimes will work themselves up into how hard everything is, you know.
Yeah.
So when it's your turn, they expect you to
complain.
Yeah, because they're
Well, to
like,
see
now
what they're
you're
saying.
gonna get a taste.
You're gonna see what I've been
right.
dealing with.
And then when you're like, no, it was cool.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you mean?
And now they're mad because
Right.
you didn't complain.
Right. I've done that before. When my wife makes something harder. I'm like, but it's not. I'm not doing it to prove a point. I'm
Right.
like, it's not though.
Right.
Sometimes you stress yourself out doing it.
Yeah.
What I was going to add to this is I think that here's the thing about temptation, right? As a man, I think one of the problems with the older generation of men is they don't understand what because temptation is. Jesus was tempted in all aspect, right?
Right.
Temptation is good. It's what you do when you're tempted, and it also builds you.
Right.
Because here's the deal.
I'll put I don't think temptation is good. I think testing is good.
No, well, okay. However you want to word it.
Right.
No, because there's a difference. Because God doesn't tempt us, but He lets us
I
go
think
through
those
the
things
testing.
pull out. It can pull you.
The devil tempts us.
It can weaken you, but it can pull character.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because He allows us to go through
Yes,
it.
the allowing of it.
Right.
But I would say this, right? Especially when it comes to, especially in marriage, because this is a good thing. Because here's what's going to happen. If you truly love your wife in that testing, right, you would see what kind of man you are becoming or what you could become. Right? Because what happens a lot of times is this. When the tests come, you can either stand firm and love your wife and help her out of that, or you can cower and become a different person behind her back.
Yeah.
You can be two guys.
Yeah.
Where in front of her back, like you said, you're wrong, but I'm going to say you're right so you could win.
Yeah.
So I get to have sex with you. I
Right.
get to not hear your mouth.
Right.
So I'll become a different guy. To in your face, but behind your back, I'll be this guy.
Yeah.
And what women don't understand is they're creating two different men, right? Versus a man who stands firm. Now, again, we go back to the truth thing, standing with the truth, right? Not his truth, but under a
Right.
biblical truth.
Right.
I say, okay, listen, you're wrong about that, but here's how we fix it. You and me, we.
Right.
Not you, but
Right.
we. I'll help you.
Right.
I'll help you fix this because I want better for you.
Yep.
Right? Same thing with temptation. You may see a beautiful woman and that woman may come on to you. But you know what? I love my wife so much that I know the pain that it would cause
Right.
if I cheat on her, if I infidelity. I don't want to do that because I don't want the fracture of what I'm building.
Right.
here,
Exactly.
right? And the example, and then that ties in with your children.
Your children. Yeah.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. The testing.
Trust, like Jake was just talking about the trust.
Right.
Yeah.
The testing is what builds together. Now you have an example. Your son or your daughter comes up. You can say, son, what you're going through right now, I went through, and here's how I dealt with it. I'm giving you an example. You've lived it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was talking to my mom about this. I think men carry the vision. Right? Men have to carry. That's why, what do men struggle with the most? The vision, the porn.
Right.
Right?
Right.
To pull you off into an imagination.
Well, men are attracted to by vision.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
But we're supposed to see what's going, like see it,
What
right?
can it- yeah,
Hold
yeah.
that vision. So what is the temptation? The temptation is to tempt us into and pervert the vision, right? And I think women are coming under that vision that a man should hold and keep, and she encourages that man in that vision.
Yeah.
You know,
Aren't they
And
tempted
that
too
it's-
by the same thing though? Like maybe not porn per se, but I'm saying like the visuals of the movies and
It's
more of an. I would say it's more of the ideas.
The idea,
right?
as opposed to the vision of it. It's their they then create the idea of what me in that position would be like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it's different. I understand what you're saying.
It's the superficial part of the vision.
Yeah.
That sometimes they can get drawn into.
That's
You
true.
know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I want to get into, so Kamala finally decided her team decided that she need to come up with a plan for black men. This is going to be her policy plan, or this is going to help black men. This is going to get them to vote for her now. And and this is where the disconnect always is. So she decides to go on the Shade Room of all places to disseminate this plan.
That says it all.
Do you know what the Shade Room is, Jake? No, I don't know. It is a gossip social media platform that is for women. And this person said the Shade Room is a site run by Africans that denigrates, embarrasses, and exploits the dregs of Black American culture.
It's funny. The Shade Room was actually, I don't know if the girl who ran it actually became a Christian.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she still controls it or what, but I know she was trying to like change stuff, and she had a different, like she had a podcast that was connected to Christ. She was trying to change a lot. I don't know if she sold it or she still has it or what, but I know she was like struggling, because she even talked about she was struggling with the whole
what that
Shade
platform
Room
is.
thing, and she was trying to like shift it.
Well, let's take a little look at the the fact that she went on the platform specifically for black people and tried to pitch. Oh, well, let's just let her get into it. So this is the person interviewing her.
To $50,000, and included in that, knowing that a lot of startup businesses then have overhead around, for example, what they need to do to buy equipment. For those who are startup and don't have the connections historically, a $20,000 forgivable loan for them to be able, for example, to pay to set up a really good website.
Might intersect with PPP loans and how, some people were involved with that, the PPP loans and fraud and all of that.
Hold on. Bro, this she on the Shade Room. Hey, bro. Look, man. The fact she just said that is insane. And I ain't pro-Trump, but god damn.
I'll play another clip here of her going into this. So people are pointing out the fact that like she wants to connect with black men, and this is the guy that is interviewing her.
Freedom, I can't lose. I'm not going to mess up the words, and I don't want to get sued by Beyonce.
And there are a couple of versions that she has, right?
I know. Did you call up the queen? Like, how did that work?
She absolutely gave me permission to use the song. I love her, and
have you met her?
I have met her, but not since I've been running just now.
Okay.
But I have met her, and she's just very special.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting?
The messaging is so bad. Like,
isn't it interesting that she was talking about all that stuff, dude? And it's so disingenuous. She literally has the talking point, and that's all she has.
Yeah.
And then once you go, and you hear that she has no clue what she's talking about.
Right.
Like, she doesn't even know how it really works.
How does that work?
She's just saying the things that they told her to say.
Because they're saying, we need black men to have generational wealth. So we're going to incentivize small business entrepreneurship and then give them a $20,000 forgivable loan. What does that even mean?
But then when he went into the whole PPP loan thing, she was lost.
Yeah.
You seen her face? She was lost.
Right.
You didn't tell me he was going to ask me this.
Well, not only that, then he starts singing and talking about Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I mean, the fact that you have a very feminine man up there for her to unveil her plan for black men. I mean, the Democrats just seem to always do that with black folks. Let's show this chick, Amala, who used to be with PragerU. She gives a little breakdown of Kamala's plan here so we can hear it.
So Kamala Harris has officially released her agenda for black men. And yes, you heard me right. This is an agenda that is specific to a certain race and sex group. We started crazy, we're going to continue crazy. She's apparently going to provide 1 million loans that are fully forgivable only to black male entrepreneurs to the tune of $20,000. And I'm going to help Kamala out on this one. A loan is something that has to be paid.
Do I get
qualify?
this? Do I qualify for
James,
this?
I'm going in.
We might be on board. 20K.
Doubles galore.
We're all going to have great websites. Come on,
No
guys.
product, just websites.
Just websites.
Back. If you're offering people a forgivable loan, you're just giving them money, probably to buy the votes that you're losing. And it's not only that, apparently Kamala's going to give black men their own educational and mentorship programs. They're going to have their cryptocurrency investments protected, and they get a national health initiative that focuses on them.
She got
and
my
lastly,
vote.
she's going to legalize recreational marijuana and get
Because you know the blacks.
black men jobs in the industry, because we know black men love to light up, right? She knows black men are fed up with her and unconvinced of her ability to lead, given that she's been a leader these past 3-4 years, and her way of gaining their vote back is discrimination.
First of all of this is all lip service anyway, because I guarantee you a judge is going to shut this down because it's unconstitutional to guarantee things for one racial group. You can't do that.
Right.
You know.
And you know what this is? Let's be honest. Here's what they looked at the poll and they're like, we're losing these guys.
Yeah.
Let's come up with something real quick to kind of skim over this so we could say we have something. Because they realize that there's only so much defense that they can go. Dude. So here's a little bit of something that you can say. That's
Here's
all.
a little something for y'all. Shut y'all up.
Only in 2024. Like, this is crazy.
Yep. So, and the thing is, they realize they're not only doing bad with black men, they're doing bad with men across the board. So I don't know if you guys have been seeing this whole like man campaign that has been going on. First of all,
I saw it.
I stay away from anything called.
Oh, I saw the campaign.
First of all, they got Bill Clinton out here. They sent him out there. This is him completely messed.
William.
He completely messed up. Look at what he does. They've been throwing wrenches in their own thing.
Case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant.
Bill!
Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
What is he doing?
Uh-oh.
What are you doing, Bill?
Someone gives him the hat, he puts on the bag.
But if they all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen, and America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up, so we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work, there wouldn't be a problem.
He was like, I'd like to be there when they're making the babies.
I can help out with the babies.
I want to help out. Can I film it?
I mean, this is so ridiculous. We have to laugh because, come on, you're talking about...
Bro, you're sitting there...
There's not enough babies. That's because of all this agendas going
But he
on.
brought up Lake and Riley and talked about if the immigrants were properly vetted, this would have never happened.
I'd like to volunteer my services.
Sound like he's out there campaigning for Trump.
That's what I'm saying. And then you had Tim Walz, who is like one of the weirdest, most non-masculine men out there trying to prove his masculinity. Did you guys see this with the hunting incident?
Uh-oh.
When he was out there trying to prove that he's a masculine man. It was such a photo op. Here he goes.
There goes one.
Nice shot. Oh, you got that. That was a good shot. And we'll get another one. They are shaking like crazy, Scott. He's on to something. Rooster! Nope, don't shoot. They came up behind you. That happens. A couple years ago, I got
mic'd up and everything.
Started up.
And then, hold on, let me see if they show it. Oh, this is him getting a swig of his Diet Mountain Dew.
It got up off my shoulder.
I don't know if they're gonna show it, but there was one part in the trip where he couldn't load the gun. He like was struggling to get the bullets in the gun, and everyone was making fun of him because he could not load this weapon. But yeah, they brought Tim out there to show.
He can shoot.
It said he didn't get one shot off despite his efforts. This is them trying to appeal to men. Did you guys see this ad?
Yes.
I saw this one.
You saw this one? Let's play this one.
It's not even about appealing to men. It's about man shaming.
I thought this was a parody.
Dude,
I thought this could have been a Trump ad.
It's so bad at man shaming,
Yeah.
right? But this is all they got, man.
Because this is what I mean. Like, they don't know how to connect with men because they don't understand men.
I just love that behind the ground they were like, all right, guys, we got to get a guy in the gym working out. Let's get a fat guy with a cowboy hat. Let's get a guy shoveling some stuff over here.
But this is what I'm saying. You're even doing it wrong because you got to do like this. Okay, what do men love? Cowboy hats. We're gonna have cowboy hats. Someone in the gym working out, nice and sweaty. Cowboy boots. I'm seeing someone talking about working on vehicles, carburetors. Like, these are things men like, right, guys?
Who wrote it?
Right,
Dylan
guys?
Mulvaney.
Oh my God, this is so good. It's giving.
Yeah. It's giving masculine. It's giving, smart, educated, anti-fascist. But let's watch this load of crap.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man. And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon. Neat.
Men love bourbon, right, guys? What is it? What does
Did
men
he just
drink?
say meat?
He said meat.
Oh Lord.
And when you find out his background, you don't know what he's talking. He's talking about something else.
Man enough to cook my steak rare. Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair. You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor?
Yes, I do.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for. I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women. They want to control their bodies? I say go for it. They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of family.
Yo, the idea that they thought they picked masculine looking men, like they really like every single one of these dudes is a poor excuse. It's so funny, man.
Isn't the dude on the bench? Isn't he a basketball player?
No, I'm gonna show y'all.
They want to be childless cat ladies? Have all the cats you want. Woman wants to be president? Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement. Because I'm man enough to support women. Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like. Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions. Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women. Or one of those pants books that the sisters like. I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it. I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife. In front of my kids. In front of my horse.
Like, they don't understand men at all.
No.
I'm not even gonna play the rest of this ad because it's just so cringy. The entire thing is terrible. But yeah, so of course the internet digs them up. The internet digs them up. These dudes are all actors and theater kids pretending to be manly men. I saw someone posted that the dude sitting on the bench, he's like some kind of he's a gay dude. He's like, where did they have? I saw it where it was like he's an immigrant. He's not even American.
Okay.
I don't even think he can actually vote. None of these people are real voters. They're all actors, of course. But yeah, it says
they can vote.
It says Waylon McQueen is a far-left pro-Antifa comedian actor who has until now found limited success. He does improv gigs at the Upright Citizens Brigade in Los Angeles. Like, they dug up all these dudes. Landry Adaiwu, that's the guy. He is an immigrant from Nigeria. He's also an actor who works at the DC-based Octet Productions. He has many intimate pictures with the Obamas and the Bidens. Adaiwu, who is bisexual, has done gay-for-pay movies and nude solo shoots in the Men for Kamala ad. He says he is a man. He's man enough to braid his daughter's hair, but the only problem is that he doesn't have a daughter. Adaiwu isn't braiding anyone's hair. I think he is. Mike Leffingwell, a gay man who also works at the Upright Citizens Brigade where McQueen works. He is an acting coach, cartoon writer for Netflix and DreamWorks, and an actor in TV commercials. On his public Instagram page, he showcases his participation in his latest project, the Men for Kamala ad. Winston Carter, the heavyset fella in the ad who claims to be a mechanic and rancher, lives in Los Angeles, signed with Taft's Broadcasting Company. He's found limited success in the acting world, mainly as an extra in films, as a character in the low-budget superhero film Spaghetti Man. And then Tony Ketchman, the tough, rugged, bearded grandpa in his garage, in the Men for Kamala ad, is also an actor. He now mainly does low-budget independent films like Carbots, where he played the role of Papa. Tony is unmarried in real life. You don't say. In 2001, he played an extra role in the blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, all these guys, first of all, totally not what they're pretending to be, and they're all actors.
But this is why they're losing men in general, because, like I said, this is disingenuous. It's stupid. Like I said, they're basically trying to shame men.
Yeah.
That's it. They're not talking about anything.
If you don't want to vote for Kamala, it's because you're scared of women. Yeah. You're not a manly man. Manly men are willing to do girly things. It's like they don't get it.
Yeah,
they don't get it at all.
Yeah. Daughter that he doesn't have.
Yeah. And then the same people did this ad trying to make Tim Walz look manly.
Oh, gosh, I can't see it, but yet it already sounds.
I love sinking into the couch, cold beer in my mouth, rooting for the twins and Tim. And I love sharing all my tools.
Sharing all my tools. Because I'm a man. Playing by the rules. What?
By the rules, keeping those edges trim. And Tim, I love leaving my white notes, making a plan to vote, helping Kamala win. And Tim, we love you, Tim.
Yeah, they don't get men at all. So yeah, it's not misogyny.
Who put that up?
This says, does this ad make you believe Tim is a manly man? This is someone making fun of it, but it's by the same people that did that ad. Wow. This is the guy who did them.
It's like
right
a parody.
Here. This is the guy who did them right here. Ready? You want to hear this guy talk?
A Rorschach test, and everyone wondering what they're seeing here. But what was your intention in creating this parody and the substance of the message?
Yeah, great question. So, I mean, I think about masculinity,
What I tell y'all?
a lot because I'm a dad now raising kids, and I think in this country, it's something we don't talk about a lot. And so I had this idea watching the back-to-back conventions where at the Democratic convention, there's men who are looking at the women who they work with or who they're in relationships with admiration and respect. At the Republican National Convention, you have, everything's about size, crowd size, this size, that size. You're playing Macho Man. Literally, Hulk Hogan is ripping his shirt off. I mean, it was such a cartoon of masculinity that it
Okay, can't take any more, but you get it. This is the guy who came up with those ads.
So now Trump has a lot of crowds, so now that's an issue too. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, and it seems like every time I'm on X and you see these people say, like, there's a hashtag men for Kamala, and it's always the cringiest men. You got people like this, that this is all we see. And it's like men.
If I were to ask Vice President Harris a question, I think I would ask her, how soon do you think we can get the Equality Act passed?
How about Donald Trump?
I would ask him, do you see me as a human?
Oh.
Watch your face. Watch your face. Ready? Watch the. I'm sorry.
I don't see as a human.
But my thing is,
I was wondering the same thing.
like they think that this is gonna convince men to vote. A man is not looking at that saying like, "You're right, guys."
The media is trash.
I gotta vote for this person.
The media is trash.
You don't. That's like you don't see me as a human.
Yeah.
I never said that.
It was funny, right? As soon as they cut, she's like, "Hey, do you want to go hang out and get something? Get away from me, you non-human."
You're beneath me. Let me show this other clip of Kamala's husband, who will be the first gentleman?
First gentleman, yeah.
Telling a story about when he got the news, what he was doing.
You said that communication is key, but she couldn't communicate with you immediately to tell you that Joe Biden had stepped down, correct? You were busy in spin class, right?
That was right. So
I was in LA. It was during that weekend when all the planes were down because of the software glitch. So I had to spend an extra day in LA. I decided to go to a cycling class with some friends, and it was an hour class, and we were just chit-chatting. I had my phone in the Secret Service car, so I didn't have my phone. And then my friend's partner just showed me his phone with the letter from President Biden, and I'm like, gotta go, and just ran into the car, and there was my phone, literally, like, you could feel the steam, 7 or 8 messages, all with, where are you? Call Kamala. And it was a 1 minute or less conversation, which started with, where the F were you? I need you right now. And basically get to work. And
basically get to work. Where the F were you? Sorry, I was in my Pilates class. Like, this dude just told everybody he was in a spin class.
With his friend.
With his friends in California.
The partner of the friend.
Yeah.
And his wife just cursed him out.
And his wife said, where the F were you? Yeah, really manly stuff going on here.
Yeah, very manly.
Oh my God.
Really manly. And then, of course, Kamala went on to Colbert to prove how she can connect with the modern man. How do you think she did
Bring
this?
on the brewskis.
Yeah, that's how they always do it. Remember Elizabeth Warren? I'm going to go have me a beer. Remember that? This was her.
One of the old
"I'ma have
saws
me a
is,
beer."
they just want somebody they can have a beer with. So would you like to have a beer with me so I can tell people what that's like? Okay. This was... Now, we asked ahead of time because I can't just be giving a drink to the Vice President of the United States without asking. You asked for Miller High Life. You asked for Miller High Life. I'm just
Nothing
curious.
to sponsor here.
Yeah.
Okay, the last time I had beer was at a baseball game with Doug.
Okay, so cheers. There you go.
Cheers.
There you go.
When she talks like that,
It just seems like
the last
everything.
time I had, like,
Yeah. It just seems like it's all lies. Like,
it's just not. Like,
it's phony.
It's just not like no. Who wants that?
Yeah, it's just phony to me, man.
It seems like she's never had this beer before.
Ooh. That tastes like the beautiful city of Milwaukee,
The
Wisconsin.
champagne of beers.
She just read that for the first time. Oh, is that what it says on there? Yeah, that was such a cringe moment. Yeah, but
Thank you, Colbert, for not standing on anything
yeah.
whatsoever.
Yep.
It's tanking.
Absolutely. I mean,
He makes like $15 million.
yeah, he does. And Tim even had a little incident where somebody came out accusing him of something. Have you guys seen that?
The soldier?
No, it was one of his ex-students.
Yeah, I saw that because you posted it.
Oh, I sent that
shared
to y'all?
it,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad when you look at the allegations. I don't know. People are still trying to determine how true this is, but someone replied to one of his tweets and said, okay, Tim, I guess now would be a good time to drop my October surprise. You remember him, right? The real reason you walked away from teaching, the kid who spent the night at your home, the one you went to the gay bar with, the reason the school board had a meeting about you. What do you think, Tim? Should I drop that now or should I wait another week or so? You know, the student you were having S with, this male student you were having S with, they didn't call you Touchdown Timmy because you were a football coach. Oh, wait, you lied about that also. You weren't the assistant coach. What do you think, Tim? You remember the Indigo Girls concert, right? And the crazy thing is, like, him and his wife have admitted that they went to the Indigo Girls concert with a student. The gay bar, spending the night, and, of course, the school board meeting. Think it's time, Tim, Touchdown Timmy. You were touchy, all right. And then the person came out and made all these accusations about what happened and basically him, grooming this underage student. But again, like, it's been hard to kind of corroborate everything. Ian Carroll did a video about it. I'll play a little bit of it so you can just kind of see the update on this situation.
Going hawk twa on one of his students that's been floating around the internet the last couple days. Well, there's been a bunch of debunking happening on that claim. And then today there was a serious twist in the story that just developed. So we're about to speed run the claims, the debunks, and then the twist.
Let's go.
In the interest of not being a total tease, the twist looks like this, so I'll fill you in just a second. So the claims are a series of leaks being brought out by this Twitter account, allegedly in contact with an email account whistleblower who was 14 when Tim Walz did a lot of stuff when he was their teacher. Relationship developed over a couple of years there, all sorts of allegations. But conservative Twitter has been admirably restrained and thoughtful and cautious about any salacious claims, and everyone was just straight fact-checking first, and they found a lot of problems and inconsistencies. Lots of accounts have been digging into this stuff, but this one did some great forensic analysis, and if they're telling the truth about their credentials, pretty solid credentials, knows more than most of us. Pointing out things like inconsistencies in email formatting, comment in the last one, no comment in this one. People noticing all this weird, inconsistent, margin stuff going on there. There is a number of inconsistencies, and people basically are like, nah, these are fake, this doesn't check out, this is not real. And for now, probably safe to assume it's not real. But today, well, yesterday, I messaged this Black Patriot account that was breaking all these leaks to just be like, what's going on here, bro? What is this all about? Because, if you've got a source, can I have it? And Black Patriot, dude, his account got nuked. People are discrediting him left and right. His credibility is fucking tanked. He's apparently in Twitter jail for 3 days right now, so he can't even post if he wanted to, allegedly. But he said, yeah, the whistleblower is down to talk to you on the phone. And today, I had a 40-minute phone call with what sounded an awful lot like a genuine whistleblower. This is the phone call. There was no weird, breaks in character. There was no weird, the vibe very, and I can be fooled. I'm no ultimate judge of character. I'm not perfect. I'm also not some professional journalist or anything. But my judgment of what I heard and what I asked and what was said to me, it sounded like it was a real story, and the details seemed to line up not only with what else had been said, but also with what I could corroborate about where Tim Walz was at that time and what he was doing at that time, and who knows. And so basically, here's where we're at. Whistleblower is seeking a legal course of action. Not going to say more about that, but allegedly told me that they are not seeking any kind of payout, that they're seeking only reimbursement for court fees, and basically peace of mind to not have to see Tim Walz on screen, in the White House for 4 years. And Whistleblower knows of several other people that experience the same or similar types of abuse. Whistleblower says they have lots of proof. Allegedly, there is a cache of journals and letters, just documents from the time that help corroborate the story. And they're allegedly stashed where multiple of these people have access to them. And allegedly, they feel comfortable sending photos of some of those documents that won't give away their identity yet, but will at least help to corroborate the story, allegedly. Allegedly, there's also more actions being taken behind the scenes that I'm not going to talk about right now. All I'm going to say is that it could all be fake. There's no proof of anything yet, and you should treat it as such. Unconfirmed, uncorroborated internet claims. But there might be something there. And if there is, we want to help protect that individual. We want to help support the leak of that information, and we are doing steps behind the scenes to do that. There's already a somewhat decentralized network of powerful journalists and other protective actors in play, if this does pan out to be true. And if those photos and evidence and stuff starts to come out in the next couple days here, we'll let you all know. And if it's all a big lie and all a big hoax, that's cool too. We all learned something. Props to all of the the people that pumped the brakes and didn't just run away with a story that was unconfirmed. Props to we're learning things. We're learning how the decentralized media does the decentralized thing. And I might be nuking my platform by kind of going out on a limb here, but I'm not a pro. I'm just a dude that talked on the phone for 40 minutes with someone who I don't know, who sure sounded like they didn't have to be thinking from a script or didn't sound memorized. Had a very complex conversation. Sounded like someone who was kind of nervous as fuck and trying to tell a story.
So there you have it. It's nothing's been corroborated yet. There's nothing confirmed. This right now is just kind of like internet, speculation. There's a whistleblower apparently who's coming out with this, but we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for that, because it could get real crazy, real dicey. And the details of that story are sick if it's true. And after all this Diddy stuff and all these other things going on, it would be crazy. But Tim Walz was out there on the campaign trail doing the same thing as Bill Clinton when he said this.
Look, you all know it. We can't have 4 more years of this. We won't have 4 more years of it. We won't.
What? It was 4 years of them. Well, Kamala and Biden.
Right. Yeah. Can't have 4 more years of it, guys. So vote for 4 more years of it, please. Vote for us. 4 more years of what we can't have. Oh, my God. It's so much. I'm going to play a couple more things, and then we'll wrap it up. Kamala is now out trying to make the claim that Trump is the one hiding from doing interviews, and he's scared.
The medical records?
Medical records, all of that stuff.
And he's not, but here's the thing, North Carolina, and he's not being transparent. voters. He's not being transparent. So check this out. He refuses to release his medical records. I've done it. Every other presidential candidate in modern era has done it.
Wait a minute. You're talking. Didn't you just cover up Joe Biden's health for 4 years on us?
And what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
They're just trying to invent something. Invent something to try to turn the tables.
He is unwilling to do a 60 Minutes interview.
She talk about who's unwilling to do interviews.
Every other major party candidate has done for more than half a century.
Trump has done multiple 60-minute interviews. Multiple. You just started doing interviews last week because your numbers were so bad. And your 60 Minutes interview was atrocious.
He is unwilling to meet for a second debate.
Because he doesn't need to.
And here's the thing. It makes you wonder.
This is the new tagline right here.
Why does his staff want him to hide away?
She's been hiding.
One must question. Are they afraid that people will see that he is too weak and unstable?
Look at this nice tight shot right there.
Right?
Is that what's going on?
Bro, this is so crazy. Like, the gaslighting level is 1,000. 1,000.
It's them. She's saying what she's saying he is, they are.
Right. And she was on with Roland Martin saying the same thing.
Fast forward to right now. His staff won't let him do a 60 Minutes interview. Every president for the last half century has done one. Anyone who
She reads from a script every time.
Everyone has done it except Donald Trump. He will not debate me again.
Wait, now she's
I
talking
put out
black?
my medical records. He won't put out his medical records. And you have to ask, why is his staff?
Look, it's the same
doing
exact
that?
script.
And it may be because they think he's just not ready and unfit and unstable and should not have that level of
Not ready. The guy who already ran the country. The guy who already had the economy humming. So I just want to play this because then Trump, Trump does what Trump does, right? He puts out a truth. He goes, as to her completely desperate request for my medical statements, she's dying to see my cholesterol, which is 180. I have already provided them many times, including quite recently. They were flawless. However, I have just seen Kamala's report, and it's not good. According to her doctors, she suffers from urticaria, defined as a rash of round red welts on the skin that itch intensely, sometimes with dangerous swelling. She also has allergic rhinitis and allergic conjunctivitis, a very messy and dangerous situation. These are deeply serious conditions that clearly impact her functioning. Maybe that is why she can't answer even the simplest questions asked by 60 Minutes and others. What is this about? I don't have these problems. Like, they don't understand. You're playing the wrong kind of game with this guy.
Right.
This is ridiculous too. Like her about the medical and him bringing that up. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little dumb.
This is what they're at now. Remember when they were saying that, Trump is all about tax and Trump is all about, talking down to people and he don't want to talk about the policies, blah, blah, blah. I guess they realized that none of that is working. So
I think a couple things. Number one, if I were Harris, I wouldn't be leaning too heavily into who's hiding what kind of medical conditions of people who are or want to be the president, given her role in lying about the condition of Joe Biden for the last 4 years. That's number one. Number two, I don't think this works for her. I think I'm back in the same bucket I was earlier. You're not selling your own candidacy. You're punching Donald Trump in the same way every other Democrat we've ever heard from for the last 8-9 years has punched this guy. That's not the problem with your campaign. We've heard all the attacks on Trump. If she cannot sell her own candidacy any better than just punching on him, for her, if I were in her camp, I just don't know it's going to be enough. That's my...
Yeah, it's pointless.
Seriously.
It's not going to work. No one cares that he won't release his. They tried it with the tax records for years. No one cares. No one cares. Let's listen to Kamala Harris with Charlemagne talking about reparations.
What's your stance on reparations? We all know that America became great, off the backs of free black labor.
Do y'all want to take a bet what her answer is going to be about this? Let's take a bet. What do you think she's going to say, Mom?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Reparations. Okay. It doesn't matter. Whatever question she's asked, what's she going to answer with?
Her background.
When she
grew
up in a middle class household.
I mean, let's see. Let's see if y'all are right.
How progressive are you on making it a priority and righting America's wrongs? It's understood that you are running for president for all people of America. Asking for specifics for black communities doesn't mean don't do for others, but black Americans are heavily asked to vote Democrat in every election for over half a century with very little in return. What are your plans to address these very important issues and change that narrative?
Thank you, Zeke.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And thank you for your work. So to your point, yes, I am running to be a president for all Americans. That being said, I do have clear eyes about the disparities that exist and the context in which they exist, meaning history, to your point. So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother worked hard raising me and my sister, and by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first.
She goes into the whole spiel.
Oh my gosh, come on.
But I do want to point out how, like, when she said as it goes, I've been very clear on reparations. It needs to be studied. That's not clear.
It needs to be studied, but she's clear. Okay.
She'll never.
That's not clear. I've been very clear on that. It needs to be studied. But yeah, she went into the whole middle class family. She does it over and over again.
Really want this to be a change election.
We have incredible re-elected president.
I gotta show this because this.
It's important to say with 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump. And so when we think about the significance of what this next generation of leadership looks like, were I to be elected president, it is about, frankly, I love the American people, and I believe in our country. I love that it is our character and nature to be an ambitious people. We have aspirations, we have dreams, we have incredible work ethic, and I just believe that we can create and build upon the success we've achieved in a way that we continue to grow opportunity and.
What you just said.
Like, come on.
Dude,
come on.
It reminds me
come
of
on,
like,
bro.
Like she goes to her safe place. Like,
Yeah. She
don't know what to say.
She goes into her bag of
when she's not handed the
talking
script,
points.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when we did the show one time and you asked, Pete was supposed to say something.
Yeah.
He just went out
He
there.
just went out there. Who seen us at the balls?
Yeah, like it just reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like this.
Don't know what to say.
Just got lost and yeah.
That's bad.
It's a shame.
I got another one for y'all real quick.
My question
This is when
to
she was
you
at the Hispanic thing.
What is your plan to improve the medical system?
Wait, don't tell me she's gonna.
Look, I
speak
come
like
from
a
the middle
Hispanic.
class. My mother was a working woman. My mother was able to finally, she saved up to be able to afford to buy a home by the time I was a teenager.
Bruh.
I know everyone has ambition, works hard, has aspirations, but doesn't necessarily
But she
have
says
all
it
the
with a
resources
Spanish
that other
accent.
people
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
I know.
Did you see when she was hold on, this is when she unveiled the new accent.
Thank you for the question, and I hope your family is okay and your home is okay.
Your home is okay, your
Well,
family.
first of all, thank
I
you.
hope your family is okay, and your home is okay. I'm Kamala, please vote for me. Like
Kamala the chameleon.
hold up. Couple more. We just go to. Oh, this one was funny because this one started to go viral about the Howard Stern interview. We showed a little bit of it last time. But
Yeah.
Why do you like Formula One? These guys driving around the cars over and over again in a circle.
It's so good.
You really love that.
We love it. Our whole family does.
It's not a campaign
and depending
thing.
on no, God no,
Wow.
no. Well, actually, I haven't been able to watch it a lot recently because I am campaigning. Because also depending on where they're driving, the time of day. You got to wake up.
Who is your favorite driver?
Lewis Hamilton, of course.
What? I don't even know who that is.
He's leaving Mercedes. You don't know? You don't watch Formula One? No.
I mean,
once you start,
I'm busy
I think
making
you
racist
should
jokes.
see it. You might get hooked.
So and of course Joe Biden had something to say about this.
And you ain't black.
This is not helping her case. Like what? No black people watch Formula One. Remember the whole controversy with the one black driver thing? Isn't that Formula One?
That's Lewis Hamilton.
Was it?
It's Lewis Hamilton.
That was his name? The guy who had the fake noose in his thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When she was faking that Spanish accent, that guy should have said, "Que mala, Kamala."
Que mala, que mala. So one last thing before we go, guys. New Halloween costume dropped. Pull this up, Mom. It's the middle class woman costume. So, if you want to go as a middle class woman who grew up in a middle class home for Halloween, you can get yours online now. But there was a whole thing. They were trying to spin the health thing because I don't know if you guys heard about that rally that Trump had in PA where he started playing music and like he took a couple questions and started playing music and everybody started saying like, what is happening to Donald Trump? He's losing his mind. Y'all didn't hear about that?
No.
There was a rally in right outside of Philly, and it was supposed to be like a town hall, and he ended up taking a couple questions, and then he just pretty much was just standing there playing music, and he was just dancing while they were playing music for like 40 minutes. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm gonna explain it. So, of course, like everyone is posting, like, look, this guy says, absolutely insane. This was supposed to be a town hall. He just played music and swayed for 40 minutes. It looks like the other idiots pretending the emperor still has clothes. Disaster. The Kamala HQ says Trump appears lost, confused, and frozen on stage as multiple songs play for 30 plus minutes and the crowd pours out of the venue early. I saw people from The View tweeting about this. Trump is losing it, blah, blah, blah. And this is going into that health thing that they're trying to push. But it turns out, and even the news had to come out and debunk this. ABC actually came out and debunked this whole narrative because it turns out something totally different happened.
And former President Trump's town hall event in Pennsylvania took an unusual turn after he was interrupted twice by medical emergencies in the room. Trump stopped taking questions and stood on stage for nearly 45 minutes listening to his soundtrack. The crowd slowly dispersed, but many stayed for what became an impromptu indoor concert. ABC News senior national correspondent Terry Moran joins me now for more from Pennsylvania. Hey, Terry.
Hey, Alex. So Donald Trump came here to the suburbs of Philadelphia, one of the critical battlegrounds in this battleground state, looking for votes. And it was scheduled to be this town hall event where he would be taking questions and listening to voters. And it turned into something else, as you say, when the candidate turned into a DJ. Donald Trump, in his 11th trip to must-win Pennsylvania, urged his supporters to turn out on Election Day.
We win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing.
In a town hall-style event in the western suburbs
Christy
of
Nolan was
Philadelphia,
there.
the former president stuck to his top issues, attacking Vice President Harris over inflation and immigration. He pledged to shut the southern border, end Russia's war in Ukraine.
Yeah. We get it.
Lower
Get to
prices
what
in the
happened.
grocery store and bring down interest rates to 2%, while providing few details on how he'd accomplish all that.
People don't think of grocery. It sounds like not such an important word when you talk about homes and everything else, right? But more people tell me about grocery bills, where the price of bacon, the price of lettuce, the price of tomatoes, they tell me. And we're going to do a lot of things.
But then, 30 minutes in, 2 attendees suffered medical emergencies.
A doctor, please. Doctor.
The incidents shifted the mood, prompting Trump to cut the question short and instead play some of his favorite music.
How about this? We'll play YMCA and we'll go home.
Trump kept DJing, and most of his supporters stayed for another 30 minutes of his playlist.
So what actually happened was he was trying to have people exit since this medical emergency happened, and he's had these attempts on his life. They didn't want to take any chances, so they're like, well, let's just end the event. So he was like, well, I'll play some music and everybody can go home, but no one wanted to leave. So then they just kept playing music and everyone was just there having a good time. But the way the leftist media tried to spin it was that this was some awkward kind of mental break. Yeah,
he's dancing.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
It's crazy.
It's a shame, man. Did they go to those lengths?
Yep.
Like, because you don't have to make nothing up with Kamala.
Yeah,
it just is what it is. But reminds me of some stuff.
Yep. And I already see them throwing out the little narrative of like how long it's going to take to count the votes and why we shouldn't be surprised if we don't know for weeks. And like I see them doing little specials on the election process on
setting the tone.
They're setting the tone. They're setting the narrative, the pre-predictive programming, so that when you see like, why don't we know who won? It's because, oh no, they told us about this already.
Same thing that happened the first time.
Yep.
Well, the first time it really happened like that with
Yes, 60 Minutes had a whole election official on there that they interviewed to talk about the whole process, where he goes into why it takes so long.
You wonder why Trump don't want to do 60 Minutes.
Yep. Yeah. But we need to stay in prayer about it, because there's a lot of stuff going on, man. This is getting crazy. In the betting polls, though, Trump has widened the margin astronomically. I think he's like 15 points up now in the betting markets, which is totally, he was behind last month. So this is like astronomical. So we'll see what happens. A few days left before the early voting already started in Georgia.
It did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So make sure everybody gets out there and votes, and stay in prayer. And pay attention to the propaganda. But yeah, that's it. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you guys for watching. Denver said, sounds like par for the course with them. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, make sure you guys like the video. Share this on your way out. We appreciate those who tune in and watch us every week. And don't forget, if you want to support and become a Patreon member, head on over to patreon.com/YoungLionTV, where you can become a member over there and help spread what we do and support what we do. And also, if you want to get merch, go to jatan.com/shop. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see everybody next week. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people.